Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 635, I want to say. It is March 26th, I think, 2020. I don't know what day it is. I know it's a Thursday. Is it March 26th? Did I get that right, too?
Yes.
Sweet, because I feel like I just pulled that out of my ass.
You should really go outside, Nick.
I mean, I've been going outside.
You should really not go outside.
I mean, I've been doing, I've been walking laps around my neighborhood and stuff. That's about it. I drove a car for the first time today in 2 weeks. It's getting crazy out there.
And the cops didn't pull you over?
Did not get pulled over. I did that. I risked my own personal safety for Brad. Brad, I have a package for you.
Oh, thanks.
I forgot.
It's a package or an envelope?
It's an envelope. It's two envelopes, actually, technically. One inside of the other. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Welcome to the show, everybody.
That's a federal crime.
I opened the first one. There was a second one inside. I did not open that one. So yeah, I just wanted to get. That's neither here nor there. Let's start the fucking show. Welcome to 4Player Podcast, everybody. We have lots and lots of video games to talk about tonight. My name is Nick Henderson. I am joined by Brad Simons.
Sup?
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And Christopher Davis.
Hello, hello.
This is week 2 of our remote podcast. It's we are in the midst of social distancing and quarantine and all that good stuff. The county in which we live in Austin is officially under what do they call it? Shelter in place?
Yes.
I went to work today.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's you're one of the few.
I went to work today too.
It's not a few.
Wait, are you not working from home, Chris Davis?
No.
Oh, what the fuck?
Education personnel are considered essential.
What the fuck? Anyways, I did not know that. Let's talk about fucking video games. First of all, welcome everybody if you're watching us live on 4pp.tv. We appreciate you being here. So 2020 kind of got off to a relatively slow start, but this is kind of like D-Day of video games this week. We have Doom Eternal, we have Half-Life Alyx, we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, all out and in our hands, and we're ready to talk about them. Before we go too far, I, of course, want to open the show reading some feedback from our last episode. And Prince of the Universe in chat, no, nobody has yet played the DLC for Control. But I would imagine myself and Chris Davis are going to play it at some point.
Oh, no, I've got an Xbox copy, so I got to wait till fucking June to play it.
Oh, wait, you got that game on Xbox?
What a fool.
So...
Ooh.
It worked just fine for me.
Oh well, you have a 1X, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why. Anyways, I want to open the show, of course, by reading some feedback from last week's show. If there's anything you would like to say after tonight's discussions, of course, head over to 4playernetwork.com, drop us a comment, and we'll read it next week. First up comes Thorax. He says, this is for you, Nolan. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nolan, you said you attended the F1 race with the hope of going to F2 and F3. Do you recall these words?
Yes.
Aren't you forgetting about F-Zero?
Is that
why they call it F-Zero?
If they had an F-Zero, yes, Brad, that is why. If they had an F-Zero race in real life, holy shit, I would be all over that. Hands down.
I feel like I would even go to
put
that.
2 and 2 together.
Yes, Brad,
Boom.
because each one is faster. F1 is the fastest, and each one below is slightly slower vehicles. I mean, different types of vehicles.
I thought it was F-Zero because it was zero gravity.
So does F3 kind of suck?
I don't think there's zero gravity. If there was zero gravity, the cars would not be on tracks.
It's still
the tracks would be amazingly huge though.
Upside down and everything.
The F Formula.
If you do the math,
dope.
these vehicles are traveling 400 miles an hour on these tracks, so It wouldn't
Is
be
that
worth
accurate?
really watching. Yeah, it's like something like that.
400
600,
seems
700
excessive.
kilometers.
The point is, or at least, so when I read this comment, I was like, oh, I get this joke. I didn't know F2 and F3 actually existed. I thought that was a joke.
No,
I learned two
those-
things tonight.
Yeah, those exist.
All right, interesting. And our last bit of feedback this week comes from Slopdog, who loves to leave feedback for us every week. We appreciate it. Slopdog says the quiet intensity in Brad's voice when he was talking about the diaper biting woman was hypnotizing. I don't think that happened on the
why
actual
did you
show.
Remind me.
Yeah, no, that was not on the show.
You know, if you scroll up in our chat window here in our Discord call, you could probably find some of those horrible videos that Nolan posted last week.
How about
I
we
did not post
know?
horrible videos.
Oh, sorry, screenshots from horrible videos. He also goes on to say, I sympathize with Nick about buying physical copies. Oh, God. I don't want to have this debate right now, but I'm going to read the comment anyways. Buying digital buying digital feels more like borrowing instead of owning, and what might be available online now but not available later due to licensing and or copyright shenanigans. Sometimes it just feels good to hold something you bought.
True.
Keep safe, guys. Much love and luck to y'all.
True.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. I think we've made our opinions about physical media known in over the past decade or so.
Yeah, but Nick, what is your silly opinion?
Go fuck yourself. Oh man. So before we get into it, this, obviously we're recording these remotely. We're just we're flying by the seat of our pants here. We don't have a ton of news later to discuss, so we have a little bit of extra time. How's everybody doing? Anybody seen any movies lately? What have y'all been watching in quarantine?
Yeah, we've been going to the movies, Nick.
Yeah.
No, like at home.
I watched, as I told you guys earlier, I finished Neon Genesis Evangelion and End of Evangelion. And
is one of those like a movie and the other one's a
series? So
Yeah.
End of Evangelion is the name of a movie that's like an alternate or the same ending. It's really weird. But wow, that's the first time I'd ever actually watched it. I watched like the first 2 episodes in middle school or high school once and was just like, nope. And came back now as a man grown.
As an adult male.
I fucking love it. It's crazy.
Sweet.
That film is incredibly violent and a fucking gut punch every 20 minutes.
Dude, it's fucking weird.
Is that
Do they kill Optimus Prime?
They pretty much kill everyone.
Yeah, but it's not even. Oh man, like, yeah.
I'm serious. They kill
We don't have to have that conversation, but like, yeah, it's like if they killed Optimus Prime, but the movie was also like Brown Bunny, like.
Jeez.
So like, unsimulated blowjob.
What?
You're definitely in the neighborhood.
Interesting.
Well,
it is
I
something
almost
else.
Crispy, I'll have you know, I'm gonna probably regret telling you this. I was this close to renting Yojimbo today,
Oh, come on.
and then I
Nick,
decided
why?
I decided it's probably not a good idea to try and watch that while I'm working because I'll probably just
No,
yeah,
mishack it.
can't read subtitles while you're working.
you shouldn't do that. I tried to do that.
That's a good point too. I didn't even really think about it. I just was in general like I probably won't be able to pay half enough attention to like really absorb it. But you're right. I would have to be reading subtitles the entire time too.
I was
I
trying
made
to
a
do
good
that
I made a
with
good
fucking
decision.
Zeta Gundam. Couldn't
I
do
made
it.
a good. Anything else? What do y'all been? Nolan?
Yeah. So been watching Great British Baking Show still. We're on season 7.
Damn.
That's going well. And then we're trying to wrap up Fargo season 3 because season 4 starts next month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, excited for that. So we only have I think 2 more episodes left in season 3.
Nice.
Pretty good. And then after that, we plan on watching what is that? King of Tigers?
Oh, I've been watching that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that is wild. Yeah, y'all should watch that.
Everyone's
Tiger
Is that
King?
the guy that like
Tiger
ran
King.
for president?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like something about meth, and he also owns a bunch of tigers.
Wait,
Oh,
like he
no.
ran for president of
No.
the United States?
It's
Yeah.
about all the people who own like private tiger zoos.
Oh,
He was
really?
like-
And well, I mean, he's the focal point, but then the whole world of that is filled with like crazy people and lunatics. It's a pretty amazing show, documentary series, whatever you want to call it. I mean, wow. Wow.
I've been
Like
catching,
my jaw's on the floor like pretty much every episode. Yeah.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
I've been catching for the first time. This doesn't sound crazy. I've been catching like The Office consecutively, like in order for like the first time. I've bounced around that show a lot and never like seen them in order.
Oh, you're
And
finally one of those.
Tonight we watched the dinner party episode.
I
Although,
love the dinner party episode.
although
That's
I was cooking
Dude,
for
that's
most
like
of it,
the
so
best.
I caught a lot of the most awkward bits just audibly. I didn't see it.
Oh my god. The
Hot
part where
damn.
he's like,
Also, I'll say this: Tiger King, is that what the show's called?
I think
think
so.
so,
Something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
I cringe harder watching that than The Office.
Wow.
Damn.
It's pretty.
I
There's a lot of
finally
cringe.
finished.
it's so good.
I
Different
finally
types
finished
of
Deadwood.
cringe.
Nice. Yeah, it's
Random.
called it's called Tiger King: Murder, Mayhem, and Madness.
That is not the subtitle I would have expected from that. But anyways,
Bernard and I were watching something the other day, and I can't remember what it was, and it was very cringy. And now I wish I remember what it was.
Nolan
She's in
lives
chat,
off
so
of
she might remind me.
Nolan lives off of the cringe
Inject that
Yeah.
cringe into Nolan's veins.
directly
my
into
veins.
Nolan's veins.
The other thing I forgot to mention is that since everyone's obviously on like lockdown,
Mhm.
I hear her yelling at the dog. It sounds not good. But we did like a remote session where we all got on like Discord, with audio and then played games. Hold on, I'm gonna go check on that. Y'all continue.
Oh man. Oh shit. Stuff's going down. Anyways, sorry. How's everybody else doing? Perhaps we should wait till
going.
Nolan gets back to talk about video games. Brad, I finally finished Deadwood.
Oh, congratulations!
The show's pretty good. It goes.
No,
to weird place.
I got halfway through your small blurb on Letterboxd and I stopped reading it.
Thank you for being totally honest, Brad.
God damn
you
it.
son of a bitch.
I'm glad
That
you
was like
like
the
it,
shortest. That was like the shortest blurb I've ever written to about.
I know, but halfway through you said something about you never quite got used to the
I didn't. I never
strange
did.
language choices or whatever.
I never got used to it. In fact, if it wasn't for subtitles, I probably wouldn't have understood what was actually happening in that
subtitles.
show.
I mean, I watch subtitles for everything, but
I mean, I do too, to be honest. Ever since I started living with Robin, because she does that by default. But I don't know, just something about the way the audio, or not the audio, like the dialogue was written in that show. It's hard to follow. Although I didn't seem to have that much trouble with the movie, strangely enough. Even though the style of dialogue didn't change a whole lot. But anyways, good movie. Good way to wrap that thing up. Have you watched it yet?
no.
You should.
Yeah, but I haven't watched a lot of things because it's one of the few things that Malia refuses to watch with me, and I don't spend a lot of alone time watching stuff. It's also why I haven't watched Castlevania season 3 yet. Yeah,
I haven't started that either. I've wanted to.
I haven't started
not because I don't
Castlevania
want to.
season 1.
Well, I mean, whatever. You should. I mean, it's good.
People
But-
say it's good though.
I do really want to watch it.
All right. Well, Nolan is away handling this emergency. So let's just roll right into what has Nolan not been playing? Nolan hasn't started Doom yet, right? And
Yeah.
I think me and Crispy and Chris Davis have played it. Brad, you sent back Doom Eternal.
Yes,
Not-
I did.
You're gonna.
I've heard some things that made it sound not so appealing to me in the short term.
Maybe that's a good place to start.
In the short term.
What if I asked you?
I
what
do
those things
I
were?
do intend to play it because you would think that a game like that is very easy to pick up and play whenever. I just didn't feel the need to add my voice to the conversation right now because it's just Doom, and I'll play it eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing too much shit right now, so
It's
and
there's a
I'm
That's
playing
fair.
Definitely
even
lots
more
of-
shit very shortly.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably a good place to start because I've played about 5 hours of it. And Chris Davis sounds like, I'm assuming you finished it already?
I finished it Saturday night.
You son of a bitch. That's very fast. Did you play it on Ultra Violence or
The entire thing in Ultraviolence, yes.
dude.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So
Tell me what that
ultraviolence is
means.
like hard.
It's hard.
Like what's the one? What's normal? What's it called? What's it called?
Hurt me plenty.
Hurt me plenty.
Yeah, hurt me plenty, and then ultraviolence, and there's like 2 above ultraviolence.
And then there's
Let me-
nightmare, and then there's ultra nightmare.
I'm playing on ultraviolence.
People are saying this is kind of unpleasantly difficult.
I'm
punishing.
having kind of that experience.
I
like
kind of feel
I
that way.
so on a relatively
the
unrelated note-
Doomslayer feels very vulnerable.
So
Especially early on.
in a slightly unrelated note on so I guess last weekend I found out, obviously, so in the midst of all this the coronavirus stuff that's happening, obviously like shipments and stuff are being delayed, and I found out that my copy of Doom wasn't going to be arriving on time. It just said like it should arrive on Monday, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to try and finish Sekiro, which I did, and I beat my head against a wall for like 6 hours straight, and
I'm very proud of
you. I finally finished that game.
So fun.
And I remember thinking to myself, I know, dude. I mean, believe me, I'm right there with you, Brad. I wouldn't describe the last like 20 to 30 hours, or maybe closer to like 20 hours of that I spent playing Sekiro as fun, quote unquote. It felt like a bit of a chore, but I beat it.
Exploring the environments is fun.
No, it's great, but like the last 15, 20 hours was spent beating my head against boss after boss after boss that was just like felt next to impossible. But I finished it.
Yeah.
And then
From
I was
Software
like,
doesn't understand what they have.
and literally I finished it, and then I got like within 20 minutes I got a notification saying that Doom is out for delivery, and I was like, oh shit, it's like 2 days early. I'll get to play Doom tonight. It'll be a totally different change of pace. I'll be able to just sit back and relax and play Doom, which seems like a very strange thing to say. But that game is fucking hard.
It is.
Violence is hard, and I'm like starting to consider knocking it down because
You know what's funny? I never played when I played classic Doom games. I always played on Hurt Me Plenty. I never turned up like everyone I knew played on like harder and harder, and they loved exploring those levels with like thousands of enemies. And I like the default amount of enemies because exploring and the level design was the highlight for me. So the idea of playing this on like super hard difficulty I don't even associate that with the way I play Doom. So I'm kind of not interested.
I think I'm gonna knock it down. I mean, I started out thinking to myself, and I told this to Chris Davis on Saturday because he was like, play it on hard, bitch, and I was like, you told me to play it on normal, and I was like,
yeah, I told you to knock it down.
I just beat Sekiro. I can do this. And I am just like not feeling it on hard. I think I'm on the 3rd mission. I think it's the 3rd mission. But there's been multiple like encounters that I've tried probably 20 to 30 times before finally winning.
No, yeah. Over the course of playing through this entire game, I probably died like 40 times.
Yeah,
there are some very challenging encounters.
But what I'm saying is I died like close to 40 times between like 2 encounters in the first 3 levels. So you're kind of, I'm going to say this, Chris Davis, you're probably a better Doom player than I.
Well, I won't say that. What I would say is that
he's just more apologetic.
No, I would say that this game is a little bit more built for PC than the last version. Especially
because I find it to be a very smooth experience.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. It is butter, everything I see about it. But specifically, I'm talking about like platforming challenges, for example. Mm-hmm. It feels like several of them weren't built with consoles in mind. Especially,
are y'all both playing on PC?
No, I'm playing on PS4.
Okay, yeah, see, that's what I'm doing.
And I kind of feel what Chris Davis is saying of like, man, I don't know if this is. I played the 2016 Doom on PS4, and I mean, there were parts of it that were frustrating, but like I got through it. But I kind of figured I should just continue on with PS4 since that's what I was playing on before. And this current playthrough of Eternal, I do kind of feel like I should have gone with PC.
It really is surprisingly early on in the game. Does it require you to really memorize movement and tactics with demons and things like that?
It jumps. It kind of throws you into the deep end, especially when just in terms of
tactics.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if tactics or not. I could see where Brad's coming from because tactics probably means something very different.
Well,
than what you're
when I say
discussing.
tactics, I mean the strategy to defeat the demons and what each demon actually does in combat and how to prioritize your attacks.
I mean, it does, in this game it feels a lot less like all the different demons seem to have very specific strategies, and you're using them in. You're having to assess those strategies while also fighting like juggling like 10 or 15 other enemies on screen at once. I will say this: like, I wasn't expecting Doom Eternal to feel as different from Doom 2016 as it does.
Yeah, these movement options just change the game completely. It's kind
not
of
even
incredible.
Just the movement options, like I feel, and maybe I just haven't played since obviously 2016, but it does feel to me like this game is all the time is throwing way more enemies at you at once.
Oh yeah,
than
definitely.
I ever did in Doom 2016.
Yeah, if you go into the codex and you pay attention to what they tell you about the demons, they kind of tell you what to prioritize. Like a lot of like the zombies and things like that, those aren't really meant for you to actually focus on killing off the bat.
I mean, they're there just so you can like chainsaw them every once in a while and get like
they are fodder enemies. They are designed for you to replenish armor and ammo.
I'll be honest. Most of the time I'm playing this game, I feel like I'm just gonna shoot at the closest thing to me because I gotta eliminate something because I feel constantly overwhelmed by the number of demons on screen.
Chris,
and also
different. There's like 4 classifications, right? There's ambient, fodder, mega, and like super mega or something.
Wait,
that.
are these like actual classifications of demons?
Yeah,
yes.
This is how they break them down in the codex.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like things like the tentacles are ambient demons, like they don't
things that are just part of the environment, basically.
Yeah, and they're like low threat.
So like a Hell Knight that appears on the screen is considered one of the first heavies.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you.
Heavies. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? What percentage of like enemy encounters are like baked into the environment versus spawn in when you like, I don't know, punch a pustule or whatever the fuck you did in the first game?
It feels like there's not a whole lot of spawn closets and things like that in this compared to
this is literally you'll spend some time platforming and exploring, and then you'll walk into like a space, and then all of a sudden enemies just start coming out of the woodwork.
Like right here is definitely a trigger for spawn closets and things like that, but compared to
closets. So in the last Doom, there was I feel like very little enemies just in the world, and then you go to the thing where you like trigger. Now there's some waves of dudes and kill them all. You know, is it still kind of like that?
No. It is filled to the brim with demons.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely still does that where like you trigger things and it sends waves after you. But most of the time, like you'll enter a big area and like there will already be demons there, and they're all just like fighting each other until you show up.
Yeah, that is one of the first things you see in the game: demons and fighting.
They do like quickly supplement the demons that are in that area with spawns, so it's still kind of functioning the same way, but like it's hidden better.
Yeah. Okay, well that's good. Because that was kind of maybe one of my few complaints with that last game.
Yeah.
How separated that felt. Carlos told me though to call you out when you brought up infighting. He didn't really. I asked him to explain it, and he didn't really. But he said infighting isn't really a thing. Don't let Chris Davis praise the game for that.
Are you talking about infighting where the demons are like fighting each other when you show up?
Yeah. Well, because that was a thing, and like.
I mean, they are doing that, but I don't think they're actually damaging each other.
They're not doing that much damage, but they can kill each other, I believe.
And also, what is the reasoning for that? Why are demons fighting each other?
It's just kind of a feature that's been in there since the first game.
Demons. Have you never seen The Good Place?
They're animated by pure hate and chaos.
Yeah, the idea is that you can
they'll just kill each other.
So Joseph has a question in chat, and this is kind of related to what, kind of building off of what you were talking about, Brad. But he says some of his favorite parts of old Doom is when you killed a lot of stuff and you're spending time in the level just trying to find a way through, and it's quiet and atmospheric, and maybe you can hear enemies that are far away. Does Doom Eternal have that, or is it always going 150 miles per hour?
I'm glad Joseph gets classic Doom.
This is kind of the coolest part of the new one. I feel like is the whole fast travel thing. they have a thing where you go through a map and it'll be encounter to encounter to encounter, and with platforming kind of sprinkled in, but you're going very quickly. And then when you get to the end of the level, before you get to like the thing that takes you out of the level, it'll unlock fast travel for you to go back to any point in the level to like find secrets and explore and do things. And it's always like so much quieter and like more peaceful and everything.
So those
but it's
those
not,
areas that you've gone through don't reload with new enemies?
no, they don't. Once you kill everything that's in the level, that's it. Once you finish the encounter, because like on the map, it'll even show you like where the encounters are gonna be if you have the auto map filled out.
Yeah.
And that encounter, like they're all kind of treated as their own like self-contained thing.
And if and
that's
also
cool. I didn't take advantage of that, and maybe I should do that more. I figured I would go through the game and then go back to explore afterwards, but knowing that if I can get to the very end and then start doubling back without
that's
being
kind of the
interrupted.
mentality that they're using, but they just put it at the end of the level instead of the end of like.
Well, that's nice. Well, I was gonna say too, like there is a lot of chaos happening and a lot of encounters that you get to in each level, but there is plenty of times where I'm just kind of jumping around in an area and exploring with very little interruption from enemies. I would say it's probably leaning more towards more emphasis on constantly bombarding you with enemies. But there's definitely I don't know if you saw in this. I'm assuming we're rolling the footage right now.
Yeah.
But towards the beginning of it,
Chris Davis hasn't started it yet.
He's waiting for the conversation to start.
My screen is frozen. But essentially, like if you saw the beginning of that level, that's the very beginning of level 3, and you spend it's very different than anything I was expecting to find in this game. That's one thing I will say about this game too, is it differentiates itself from Doom 2016 by how all 3 levels that I've played so far have been, at least at the very beginning, have been dramatically different in terms of what kind of environment you're exploring. And the third level, it kind of opens up and you're it's like an ice area and stuff, and you're just kind of climbing all over the walls and jumping to these ice platforms and stuff. And there's all these giant ancient bones and skeletons that you're exploring across stuff. And that stuff's really cool.
Worlds.
Yeah,
what the
environment
fuck is wrong with Ice Worlds?
Oh, were you who's the one that's obsessed with Ice Worlds?
Not me.
Everyone loves Ice Worlds.
No, I remember somebody had a weird thing about Ice Worlds. Was it Brad? It was Brad.
Probably Brad.
I mean, it's just if I try to think back to Doom 2016 and it all blurs together to me because the environments were all very much, you're on this complex on Mars, right?
Yeah,
and
there were
jumping all over places on Earth.
There's a little bit more variety in Eternal, in my opinion, but it's still got those same basic kind of areas. Hell, you got the industrial areas. The really big thing now is the urban environments. That's the biggest new thing.
I will say that the second level started with something that I wasn't expecting at all, kind of like that ice level I was talking about, and then by about halfway through the level, at some point it just without me even noticing, it just kind of fell back into just giant hellscape again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I kind of wish it just kept going with the other thing because it was so fresh and new. And but it's neither here nor there. I mean, it's Doom on Earth, so you are spending a lot of time, like you said, in urban environments and just cities.
But not just Doom on Earth. You're going to different
Spoilers.
Fucking planets and stuff.
See, I didn't know that. I'm only in the third level. Anyway, sorry, Brad. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I have a question. Okay, so here's a question. I want you to answer me honestly. Why does everyone say this is a little disappointing and everyone prefers the last game?
Is that what everybody says?
Yes.
I haven't seen that personally, but I will say this: Doom 2016, I think, got a lot of praise because it was the closest thing to classic Doom we'd seen in a long time, and it looked beautiful. And this is Doom Eternal is kind of, in a way, more of that. So I think it doesn't skate by with just feeling oh, this is fresh and amazing, because we haven't seen this kind of game in a long time.
Yeah, and
now
also
it just feels like another sequel to that game.
Question.
And also, okay,
does the story suck, and do they get the tone all wrong?
Are you reading these questions from
No. I've heard this comparison to they're approaching Bad Duke territory, with the story and the Doom guy.
No,
well,
I
like,
think they. I don't think they do that. There is of course that same kind of level of cheese with 2016, but it's still very
way
entertaining.
More cheese in this one. I mean, there's cheese. They're both cheesy in terms of the way they approach. Like, I mean, there is something very appealing about the way they approach action and just like over the top craziness. And like, I like that. But
I heard there's more story too.
I don't know how these games are connected. Is my problem. I'm only 3 levels in though.
What? You don't know how this game's connected to the last game?
Like it I don't know how to explain it. To me, it almost feels like a
let me give you my perspective on the whole thing.
Sure.
That viewpoint of like, did they nail tone and the story like they did last time around? The only reason why they nailed it last time around is because they just didn't do it. And now they're kind of
important.
Well, here's the thing. So,
and that's it. That's the only difference. I don't think what they're doing is like bad, but it is kind of like
they go deeper on the lore.
They're doing lore. Yeah, like they're doing lore about like the Doomslayer and like the legacy of the Doomslayer and the fucking Knights of whatever they're called. Yeah, the Sentinel Knights and the fucking Exandria or Exodia or whatever the fucking planet they come from is, and like they're doing lore, and like I'm into it because it's fucking they're kind of just doing like dumb Dark Souls shit. Like it's weird, but like
I mean, like all the like so much of the lore is just kind of baked into the codex, and you have to be willing to read a lot.
But they're like trying to do it now, and it's like kind of.
Is there more story in the new Doom than there is in the new Half-Life?
We're not going into that.
We're going to talk about Half-Life. So here's the thing. This
Except for that end scene, which goes like this. So Alyx and
you punk ass bitch. Here's the thing. And I don't even know why I said this feels like it's. I don't know how it's connected to the first one, other than the first one felt so like smaller in scale. And all of a sudden in this game, it starts out and you're just on this like giant fucking ship flying through space. And I'm like, where did this come from? And when did Earth get completely taken over? It's just, it feels like there's a ton missing between the first game and the second game that is not explained, at least not at the beginning.
Yeah, it's very in media res with the start of
What about the beginning of that game where they're like, demons are taking over Earth and you've got to kill them? Like, what about that? Are you like, okay, but why?
Okay,
but,
no, I mean,
but why?
I mean, the thing is, like, if
like,
you,
that's literally all they're like the end of Doom 2016 happened, and since then the
no. But here's the okay. Remind me, Chris Davis. I'm asking you specifically.
Yes.
Because I can't really remember, but somebody said this, and I think did Doom 1 end with you being like trapped?
Yeah,
somewhere, right?
Yeah, you get betrayed by the robot dude.
Yeah, Samuel Hayden sends you somewhere.
Spoilers.
And then they completely gloss over it at the beginning of this game. It's just like, okay.
They completely gloss over it. And
do they ever go back and explain that?
No, they don't tell you what happens in the interim, no.
That's what's bothering me.
But
I know I shouldn't care.
This game has a season pass though, so I think that's what they're gonna do.
Of course they will.
So, but
we're getting really deep into like story and lore when this is fucking Doom, and what really matters here is like the combat scenarios and the exploration.
That's true, but to be fair, great. And to reiterate the point, the game is also doing that too, to a certain extent.
Wait, say again?
Like you're saying, it's Doom and lore doesn't matter. It's like, okay, but Doom Eternal doesn't agree with you.
You're right.
They kind of do think lore matters.
You're absolutely right.
And it actually gets kind of fun. I actually really enjoyed reading all the codex.
Don't get me wrong, it's cool. Like I'm glad like they're taking it seriously. There's maybe a tad too much reading for my taste in a game like this, because I spent like 2 minutes reading. I spent like 2 minutes reading a tutorial, and the entire time I was like, I kind of want to just fire my gun again, but I'm also kind of interested in what I'm reading. I don't know. Doom is just the kind of game that gets your blood pumping, and when you stop to read a codex, you just kind of like simmer down, and then you got to get going again. It's weird. Yeah. But this game does do a few things really differently than the first game, and honestly, I feel like this game is so Doom 2016 felt very straightforward in terms of, you know, its mechanics and the way it was trying to honor classic Doom. This game is almost like mechanic overload. Like there are so many meters and uh like alternate fires on weapons and switching between different grenade types and trying to remember all the different weak points on the different enemies
and what like those weak points do if you take them out and how that changes the patterns of the enemies attacking you. Like
if you tap triangle, you can like spray, like you can spray them with a flamethrower, and if you shoot them after that while they're on fire, they throw like armor pieces fly out of them. And it's like when you're running
armor anyway as they're on fire.
Yeah, but like if you kill them while they're on fire, they'll like drop a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
So like that factors into the strategy, and like it's cool stuff like that. But like sometimes I'm struggling. Like I picked up a purple orb the other day, and I was like, I honestly can't remember what this fucking purple orb does.
It's quad damage.
So from that point forward, I was just doing quad damage.
Yeah, for like 30 seconds.
Okay, I was worried I was forgetting how to like activate something. Just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
here?
Doom 2016 had those power ups in there. Not as much in this, but
it does just feel like there's a lot more of them here. And then on top of that, you're getting runes, and then you go back to your spaceship, and your spaceship is like this crazy elaborate
the Fortress of Doom.
Yes, the Fortress of Doom,
and it's a fucking hub.
You started to say that like it was gonna have some crazy name.
Nick, why are
That's already a crazy name. Why the fuck do you call it that?
I, for one, would like to point out that the Fortress of Doom is way cooler than anything that was in Doom 2016.
You're right.
Cooler. The Fortress of Doom is like I know I was kind of like saying they shouldn't do lore, but if they are gonna do lore and they want to, and this is like what they want to do, I think it could work.
I mean, the lore is cool
because it's like a giant. It's not just a spaceship, Nick. You just keep calling it a space. It's a fucking like.
Castle.
It's a fantasy castle cathedral thing. It's
with a demon prison in the basement.
It's fucking.
You can go
dope,
into.
Man.
You go down the elevator and there's a demon prison.
And you know what they call that demon prison? The fucking Ripatorium.
Yeah, wow.
I thought you were going to say the Doom Prison.
The Doom Prison.
It's crazy.
It's called the Doom Vault.
It's fucking great.
But like everything in this game that I'm digging is stuff that I'm like, I wish this was in an official D&D supplement or some shit.
What's funny you say that because Doom came out of D&D.
Okay, so Krispy, are you playing on Ultraviolence? Or are you playing on Hurt Me Plenty?
I'm playing on Hurt Me Plenty.
I think I'm gonna knock it down. Fuck it. I think I'm gonna knock it down.
I recommend that.
I'm at the point where I'm like,
and also do not be afraid to knock it down. Do not be afraid to actually find and activate cheat codes if you want.
Well,
Look at this! Yeah. Listen to this fucking asshole. He just beat it on hard, and now he's like, "Hey, peasants, it's okay to turn it down."
But here's the thing: the game like almost kind of designs and pitches cheat codes as if they're part of like the mainstream experience.
Yeah, like
not just like a fun side thing you do after the fact. It's like, hey, use cheat codes to finish the game on your first playthrough because you might have to.
Hey, Chris Davis, let me ask you something.
What?
This is the last question.
Do you feel that like you were very excited about this game and the last one, right? And you're like, oh, I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna buy the cat helmet and everything, whatever the fuck you did, right? Are you like, well, as a true fan, I have to play it on hard? Do you feel that way?
No, I mean, not really, no.
Chris Davis, it's a trap, by the way. That question.
It's not
if
a
you
trap.
answer in the affirmative, he's gonna tell you why you're wrong.
No, I don't even have a response to what he says.
I mean,
I'm just curious as to what he thinks.
I mean, the game difficulty, you know, it says that this is for quote unquote experienced FPS players. So I've played a shit ton of shooters. I think that
I will say.
I think
I
that
feel like
description
machismo is like built into modern Doom.
I don't think that description accurately defines the ultraviolence experience. It is harder than they are pitching it to be.
It is, and I will say this, Chris Davis, and this is please don't take this the wrong way. You do play a lot of shooters. You play more shooters than I do at this point.
Yeah,
shooters is something I play very infrequently at this point. So like, and I'm gonna be honest, I was feeling pretty cocky after beating Sekiro. So maybe I just said fuck it and I went a little too far. So
you're like, I'm a gamer.
Yeah, I can do this. Fuck it. I'm doing it tonight. I'm knocking it down.
There's nothing wrong with it, especially with the fucking Slayer gates. Oh man, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you don't need to, though.
Yeah, we're going to revisit this on a future show because there's plenty to talk about. I'm going to finish it. I'll have more to say about it next week. Crispy, how far are you in this game?
Fucking giant gore nest.
I have no idea where that is, but you're farther than me.
I'm
We'll bring it up on a future show, and of course, at some point, I'm assuming Brad will play it. So there's plenty of time to talk about all the little details. For now, I want to do a complete 180. And first of all, I want to ask Nolan: is everything okay?
Within reason.
Was there a smell associated with what was happening?
Oh god,
no.
Thank goodness.
Kato ate a chicken bone.
Oh.
So we're just trying to make sure that's all good.
Oh no.
Jeez.
So
why do dogs do things like that?
Because dogs are pretty dumb in all reality.
If we're being honest.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's okay. I do want to do a full 180 here, though. We're talking about Doom for quite a while. Nolan,
what up?
You've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah, I have.
And Brad has been playing it too. You've been playing it with Malia's, right?
Yeah.
Or Malia's been playing more of it than you have, I guess, but y'all sharing a town.
Definitely. In fact, it's sort of creating this tension between us.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
It's kind of an awkward tension where she's played like so much more of it. So like when I'm playing it, I'm like, what's going on? I'm asking her a bunch of questions and she's like, just stop. Look, you're never going to be on my level.
And then aren't you ruining her fucking island by destroying all her rocks?
Well, yeah, I realized the error of my ways on that one.
All right, well, let's talk to someone who's played a lot of it, or more than you have.
You want me to bring in Malia?
No, Nolan. Tell us about Animal Crossing.
Well, yeah. So, Animal Crossing: New Horizons was my first Animal Crossing game.
Nice.
This game's a piece of shit.
What? Are you serious?
Every time I go to an island, I get the same shit. Like you fucking go to different islands so you can get different fruit and different shit. Every island I go to, it's fucking peaches. I'm sick of fucking peaches. Every goddamn island.
Nolan, I got apples. Look.
Well, so actually, right before the show, Lau visited my island and brought me some apples. Okay. So I have some apples now. But
let's see them apples.
How many? This game came out last Friday?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I've played it every day since then. And this is the first time when Lau came to my island I've even seen a fucking apple in this goddamn universe. I've the only other fruits I have seen on an island when you get this little pass and you can travel to a random island, and the only other fruit I've seen besides fucking peaches is oranges. I've never seen cherries. I've never seen pears. I don't get the good shit. People are like tweeting.
What is the good shit? That's what I want to know.
Anything. People are tweeting like, "Oh, I found an island that's all like emperor butterflies, and those sell for 4,000 bells each, which is some good fucking money." And I get islands that have rocks filled with clay. It's not even like iron nuggets. It's just clay.
You can make an ocarina though.
Oh, I'm so excited for my ocarina. That's going to do nothing. That I'm going to play once and then throw it in the corner of my house that's just filled with crap right now.
This is a twist I was not expecting.
Because I can't afford the next upgrade to my house because all I'm catching are fucking flounders and dabs, and they're worth basically nothing. And so I'm just not able to make money.
But
what's
here's the other part.
What's the best fish pun in the game, you think?
So actually, if you watch the footage, actually today, I caught a... what is it called? Like an oarfish, or it's like super fucking long and big. I didn't sell it though, because once you catch one of every fish, I got to give it to fucking Blathers.
That's what you do in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I fucking know. So the most expensive fish is probably it's not the snapper. There's one more that I've caught.
Not expensive. I said the best pun.
Oh, the best pun.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a lot of them.
Oh, every single thing you pick up has a pun.
Yeah.
Every single thing. I don't like the dab. I don't like the flounder. I'm trying to think of the good ones. I mean, like when you catch a carp, he's like, "Oh, a few more of these, and I'll have enough for a carpool."
What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, carp. And like when
Yeah,
you catch
that-
like a centipede, he's like, "Oh, 99 more, and I'll have a dollar peed."
That's terrible.
Yeah,
that one's pretty good.
that one is pretty good. But yeah, every single thing you pick up, every creature has a pun associated with it. Like when you catch a sea bass, he's like, "Oh, I got a sea bass." Well, more like a C plus, dude. Like every single one.
And the black
Um,
bass, my favorite kind of metal, or what is
Yeah,
it? say?
the most metal of all fish.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know.
Christ.
All of them have like jokes and references to them.
See, here's the
Like
they got
when you get
jokes.
a tiger beetle, it's like, "Oh, he pounced first." Like it's just like all like just random little puns or like jokes with every single thing. But like I said, I'm currently 358,000 bells in debt, and I can't fucking get anything.
What?
Yeah,
Oh my god, you should file for bankruptcy.
Dude, what about wait. This
the
is your first
raccoon.
Animal Crossing?
yes, to the raccoon.
You know
Yes,
about
this is my first.
playing the turnip market, right?
I when I started the game, I started it last Friday, and then Sunday rolled around. But I think if you played, anybody who currently has turnips had to have cheated.
No, that's not true because we
Because
have some-
Filthy
so-
fucking cheaters.
Well, so how? Because I wasn't able to advance
They
the game
part of
enough
the
to get to the
turnip
part where you get turnips. That Sunday, I got a letter. I was like, "Hey, on Sundays, this lady's gonna visit," but like she didn't come. She didn't come that day.
Maybe we didn't buy them yet. I was talking to
Bitch.
the Nook kids about turnips today.
Timmy and Tommy. Yeah, they will buy turnips from you, but I couldn't buy them.
Huh.
I
Why
could
are
like
people
the
so
person who
salty with this game?
Well, here's
I don't know.
It's the
Here's
Animal
the other
Crossing
part.
way.
the other
Any,
part of
any
this
good
con-
villagers? You got any good villagers? I got a rhino named Tank. He's into
I have
sports.
I have like an octopus named Zucker or something.
Oh,
like
I got
that.
Zucker. We got Zucker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I have this Genji. I don't know what the fuck he is. I can't tell, but he's like all about muscles and working out. And every
Yeah.
time I'm seeing him, he's like, "Oh, you've been working up a sweat." And then like I gave him Timmy and Tommy were randomly selling a speed bag. If anyone doesn't know
Wait
what
a
speed
minute.
bag
like
is.
drugs.
No, it's the little device that hangs down that you punch, and it's all about the timing
yes,
of your
yes, yes,
punches.
yes.
That's called a speed bag. And so I bought one and gave it to him, and he like fucking like creamed his pants. He was so excited about this speed bag. He's like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing!" And he gave me some bells.
I wanted
Um,
to, so like when we started this conversation, we asked Nolan what he thought of Animal Crossing. He opened with this game is garbage, but he
No, he
also
said it's a piece of shit.
piece of shit. He also said he's played it every day since he got it, and the entire time he's been talking about it, he's got this huge smile on his face.
Well, you have to play it every day because first of all, you have to go to the Nook stop every day so you can get your bonus bells, or not bells, your Nook points. And then every day, Timmy and Tommy sell random stuff, so you have to visit them to see what they're selling. And like Brad said, once the turnip market is going, every day Timmy and Tommy buy turnips for different prices. So if you
Well,
buy all
shit.
your turnips on Sunday, you want to sell them for a profit, so you're not going to sell them for a loss. And so it's all about that gamble of, oh, what are they offering today?
And you go to other people's towns as well. They're different.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
A lot of
okay.
people have been tweeting, "Oh, Timmy and Tommy are buying turnips for 300 bells. Get to my island."
So let me ask this: you're able to go to other people's islands, right?
Yeah,
And you can you take their resources?
So this
if
is
you're
kind
their
of like
best friend.
Yeah, so this is I don't like how they've implemented multiplayer. So first off, it's real fucking slow. Like if I'm like the other day, I actually went to Sci-Fi's island, and so that's actually the only island I've ever been to besides my own. Just everyone in communities all come to my island. But so I said, "Hey, I want to go to Sci-Fi's island." So first off, she has to open the gate to her at her airport. If the gate's not
It
open,
was
no
an
one can come.
airport?
Yeah, how else are you gonna get off
Like-
the island?
Like you get on a plane and you.
Yeah.
It looks like a very small island. Where's the?
I thought you could like pogo stick or
It's a
Well, you
it's a
pogo stick
seaplane.
across the river.
It's a seaplane, I think.
Yeah, it is
So
a
it lands in the
seaplane.
water.
like a pontoon.
Gotcha.
Like whatever,
gotcha.
like the big, yeah. But anyway, so like it's like, hey, it's time to go to my friend's island. I have to wait. Then I have to go up to this guy and be like, hey, I want to go somewhere. And he's like, all right, well, where do you want to go? It's like, okay, well, I want to go to see a friend. It's like, oh, okay. All right, do you want to see that friend online or local? Online. Okay. Well, it's just this really long drawn out process. And finally I'm like, oh, I want to go to Sci-Fi's island. It's like, okay, cool. And then it has this loading screen where it's like, oh, Nolan is going to Sci-Fi's island. But like as soon as that starts, like me traveling, her game stops. She just stands there and she has to wait for me to get to her island. And then she has to watch a cutscene of me getting off the plane. And it's just a very drawn out process.
I feel like that'd be really like endearing for the first time you watch it. And then after that, it's just like.
But here's the thing. So 3 other people were visiting her island.
Oh, no.
They all had to watch the cutscene too. Everyone just stops in place. When anyone leaves or joins an island, you get like the game grinds to a fucking halt for a good like 30-40 seconds. It's way longer than it needs to be.
I feel like that will eventually be something they have to kind of patch out, right? I mean,
they would have to
I
fix
imagine.
I
can't imagine people are going to be happy about that.
I can imagine people fucking trolling using that tool.
But anyway, well, no. So that's the thing.
You have to open your gate.
Yeah, you have to either be a friend with someone to go to their island. You have to open your island to friends, or you open your island via a code, and anyone with that code can come to your island, and that code changes every time you open it via a code.
Sounds like a friend code.
It's not, but it's like a one-time 5-digit like character, or 5-character code that changes every time you say, "Hey, I want a new code to invite people." But anyway, so yes, I've been to one other island. You cannot just go around destroying things. First off, you have to be a friend with them. You can like pick resources, so you can like pick like flowers or like get fruit off of trees, but you can't destroy things unless you're best friends with them. If you're best friends, then you can start destroying shit.
Okay. So the reason I ask is, why can't you go to somebody's island, get some resources, and then take them back to your island and like plant them and grow them?
You can
yourself.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
And that is the only reason I have anything besides peaches and oranges. So my island by default has peaches. What's going on? I'm not watching the footage. Oh, did I catch
fish?
Yeah, so that's
there's the big long fish.
I finally caught oarfish or something. I can't remember what it was called. But yeah, that's like the first, like that's like the big one I finally caught. But yeah, like so, like I said, so that's going. Oarfish. I was right. So that's going to your friend's island. Or you can go to the Nook stop and you can spend 2,000 Nook miles, which is like a reward system. So if you like every day, there's a bunch of shit you can do. Oh, catch 5 fish. Oh, sell 1,000.
I don't like the Nook miles.
Yeah, and so you earn like miles, like if you were like, oh, like like credit card pints almost. But anyway, so you can buy a pass and that will take you to a random island. And that island could have anything on it, Nick.
These are not. These are like. They're not inhabited islands.
Correct. They are not inhabited. They're just like a random island.
Well, sometimes there's a person on them.
On the odd occasion, you'll encounter like a random NPC, and you can invite them back to live on your island. But so like I said, random assortment of fruit and flowers and whatever. Unless you're in my universe, where every island you go to is fucking peaches and one island with oranges, and that is fucking it.
Should we get some coconuts?
So yes, I do have a few coconuts, but they're fucking useless.
So can you just say fuck this island, ditch it, and go live on another one?
It costs points, man. It costs Nook miles. Those things are hard to come by.
You cannot leave the island that you're inhabiting.
Wow.
And I'm assuming everyone's island is like dynamically generated, so it's
correct.
Different.
They're procedurally generated, so they can be like a random array of different things, but they all have like it's all basically a square with some sort of waterway flowing through the middle of it. Generally, one half is kind of blocked off, and there's some like height to some part of the island that you can't always get to the highest part until you get like a ladder.
Gotcha.
But it's like I said, it is frustrating. And yes, Chris Davis, I do now, as of right before the podcast, have a supply of every type of fruit. I have a little orchard on the right side of my island where
things are looking up.
You're playing Animal Crossing like Stardew Valley, aren't you?
kind of. I don't know if
started.
I don't know if I go over to my little orchard at any point in time in the footage, but I do have one of the cool things is you can create like any kind of like logo object, whatever, and that's kind of a cool system. And I ended up doing that and creating a logo for each fruit, and so I've labeled all of my trees with a little symbol of the fruit, so I know what type of fruit it is.
Damn, Nolan.
But it's just like it's one of those things where I
You
don't
know
know,
what's-
like
you know what's
like
about this?
Hmm.
You know, this is the first game where your tools can break.
I did not know that this is
Yeah.
the first one.
It's
'Cause
obnoxious.
they break often.
It's obnoxious.
What is with the?
It's-
I
What is
don't
with
know why they
Nintendo
did
this
that.
generation. Like this generation, it's like we're gonna make a really awesome Zelda game, but we're gonna make all your weapons break.
There's
Yeah.
a
Same
kind of a
thing with
reason
Animal
they,
Crossing.
they did it in Zelda, I guess.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, but nobody liked that, right?
No, I mean some people did, whatever. But it was a design decision to like get people to approach combat a certain way. There's no fucking reason that does this in Animal. It didn't do that in the other Animal Crossings, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Minecraft
one
did
thing,
it
they break
first, and
so
let's follow
quick, too.
Minecraft.
They break so quickly.
They
too.
do break pretty quickly. One thing I will bring up was something because, like I said, this is my first Animal Crossing. I wasn't familiar with the fact that time is real. So, like right now, if I were to boot up the game, it would be 9:21 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you better check the shop.
Yeah, the shop closes in 40 minutes. Motherfuckers.
So is there just like a lot less to do at night?
Not
or-
necessarily. So certain creatures only come out at nighttime. So it's one of those things where the game kind of encourages you to play at different times of day. The other thing is there are seasons, but it's not like seasons like in Stardew Valley where if I go to sleep fucking 20 times, it's going to be the next season. There's no
Yeah.
sleeping in this game. If I want to wait for fall, I gotta fucking wait until fall
Yeah.
to get
And
to
then
that.
so what happens when the seasons change aside from the aesthetics changing? Do you find new
Stuff
things?
happens,
Yeah.
seasonal events.
Yeah,
and
there are seasonal events.
Yeah.
That was part of the Nintendo Direct today. They had mentioned that April
Easter.
1st, yeah, there's going to be like an Easter event.
It's all rabbit day or bunny
Yeah,
day.
something like that. There are seasonal events. I'm sure there'll be like a Halloweeny type thing. I'm sure there'll be a Christmassy type thing.
Mhm.
Creatures only show up during certain seasons.
Yeah.
So
Has the camel come by yet? Every
with,
Animal
like,
Crossing
with
has
the maps or whatever.
There's a camel that sells special exclusive wallpapers.
Sorry,
and
the wallpaper.
carpets.
That's what I meant. Yeah, the camel
Yeah.
did come by, and I got some exclusive wallpaper and stuff. And I was just
What
recently
about
visited-
KK Slider? I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler, but
I don't know. I have some KK Slider music that I play on a jukebox in my house.
Yeah.
But that's it. I haven't seen KK
KK Slider is like, I mean, think of like the coolest person in any like medium or whatever, or any like universe.
That's
or
the- that's
whatever.
the cross-stitch
like
thing or
he's
whatever
like
Malia
the
did, right?
Doomslayer of Animal Crossing.
Gotcha.
That is
Doom
a
Slayer and
reference.
KK
He
Slider.
gets, you'll see. He'll get your panties wet. He's so cool.
All right, good to know.
Yeah.
That was-
But yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, I am continuing to play it every day, but it's just frustrating because I'm starting to lose hope in that every single island I go to, it's the same shit. You know, I've never seen one of these elusive butterfly islands or tarantula islands where you can like, oh, I got a bunch of tarantulas and I went back and I sold them and I made 250,000 bells, and I'm like coming back from my trips and making like 5,000.
Well, I hope your luck turns around at some point.
I'll say this. You don't need to have such like a militant approach to Animal Crossing. Just kind of let it charm you and just check in every day. You're not the goal of paying off your house and getting the maximum amount of upgrades to your house. I mean, it's okay if it comes in, June or whatever. It's just
I know, and that is something I've been doing. When I first started, I played, for a very long time, the first couple of days. But now it's been, I probably play for like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes a day.
Yeah.
I boot it up. I do all my daily tasks. I check my rocks. I shake a few trees. I collect some fruit.
Check my rocks.
It's the way it's designed for you. You don't want to get burnt out on Animal Crossing before you do start getting to some of the cool seasonal events and whatnot. It's breezy.
Yes, Reborn. I did get a urinal today when I was.
You put
playing.
a urinal. There's no walls around it. It's just a urinal in the corner of your house.
Yeah, why not? But
you live alone. Fuck it.
Yeah. So one thing I will say is that certain people are being the masters of time, and
That's absurd.
yeah, like Prince, who just beat the game today.
It's Prince.
because-
What do you expect?
Wait, how do you beat Animal Crossing? I thought Animal
Well,
Crossing was just the kind of thing that you just play
No,
forever.
there's definitely an ending. You can still keep playing after that ending, but a lot of them are doing that via modifying the time on their Switch. So all of a sudden, it can be 2 weeks from now. It can be winter. It can be next
These
spring.
cheating bastards.
This doesn't even make sense in Animal Crossing. Why would you do that?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not like upset. Anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. But I'm not going to do it just because I want to, experience the game for fun, and whatever. But yeah, so I like I said, I'm gonna keep playing. I am enjoying it to an extent. There are definitely, it has a charm to it. I've learned some it's like cool recipes. It's just one of those things where there's not too much I can do right now in regards to making my town pretty, just because I don't have access to that many things yet. I have, just a few.
So it
simple
goes beyond
resources.
making your house pretty to the
Oh
point
yeah,
where
you
you're
can
like,
design the whole island. Yeah.
oh, so yeah, I'm pretty. I'm
And so
pretty
that's
unfamiliar with Animal Crossing.
that's
too.
what I was talking about. And like I said, if you've seen some of like the little icons that are on the ground in my game, people are taking that, but they're customizing those to make them textures. So instead of making a little icon, they're making it look like it's a stone path or like this or whatever. And so they can
Mm.
actually literally change the landscape almost as if they are like changing the textures in the game.
That's pretty cool.
So I've seen some pretty cool like videos and screenshots of people who have like created some
Hey,
pretty
dude,
unique
what's
things.
up? What's up with Harvey?
So
Dude, he came to my. There's like this hippie dog. He came to my island. He's like, "Hey man, come to my private island. Check out my cabin. We'll take some we'll do a photo shoot.
we'll take some photos together.
We'll take some photos
What?
together." And I go into this little house and I sit on the couch in front of these cameras. And I guess I wasn't reading all the dialogue because I didn't. He left the room, and it started to get really creepy. I was like on some sort of casting couch or something.
Basically,
I didn't know if I should
Oh,
start
shit.
taking off my clothes or what. It was very strange.
So Harvey runs an island where he has a photo studio, and you and all your friends can go to his photo studio and take photos.
He's a
basically like
hippie.
Yeah, he is a hippie. It's basically like you remember the 90s when people would always go do those like photo shoots at the mall and whatever,
Yeah.
like different bag. It's basically that. I'm
Alright.
probably not gonna do it, but
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for his
Yeah.
shit. All right. Let's before we cut to break, Krispy,
Yep.
Uh-oh.
you brought some footage of as requested. You brought some footage of Call of Duty Warzone,
Yeah.
which you talked a little bit about last week.
oh
I'm
shit, I
assuming you-
forgot I played that.
Oh
I
shit!
completely forgot I played it.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Y'all both been playing some Call of Duty. I'm assuming Krispy, you've been playing more Warzone over the past week.
I have.
How's it going? Oh, you didn't bring footage of the gulag, did you?
I think there is footage. Yeah.
There
Oh,
is.
there is.
This
guys
is a
on the
game
right.
Cam and I
Hostiles in the air. Hostiles in the air. Contact.
that I think we got.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Davis fucked it
Oh
up.
no!
Yeah, it's kind of weird too because he recorded it on his PlayStation, so you can only hear him talking. He's talking to me, but you can't hear me. You only hear him talking. We actually got second place in this match too. So
Nice.
spoiler alert.
Is this footage of him playing?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's from his.
So when you say we got second place, for all we know, you could be like hiding in a bathroom somewhere.
No, it definitely was him. No. It absolutely was him. He's way
Yeah.
better at this game.
So he told you to hide in the bathroom, is what you're saying.
No, he didn't tell me to hide in the
No, I'm
bathroom,
kidding.
But he definitely is the reason why we did as well as we did. So
It's one of them there
I
Fortnites,
don't-
right?
it is. It actually is like of all the different battle royales that they're pulling influence from, it does kind of feel like Fortnite is the most.
Really?
Um,
It looks
at
like
least as far
PUBG
as
more than.
at least
I mean,
as far as
from
the
a
battle
text
royale mechanics go.
Yeah.
Not so much the it doesn't have the building aspect, obviously, but the idea of the like the loot chests that have pre-selected loadout guns, and they all have like different like rarity levels and things like that. Most battle royales have something like that, but this one's most closely in line with the way Fortnite handles that one. Now, I don't remember exactly what I've talked about already with this game.
You talked
But
about the gulag.
I
Yeah,
did talk about the gulag,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I'm still super frustrated with it every time I go into it. But it is an interesting it is an interesting addition to the genre. The one thing that I don't think I mentioned about it that I do kind of like is that it puts you in situations uh where if you get dropped on by another team, like say in Apex Legends, if all three of you get down by an enemy team, that's it, you're done because there's nobody to bring back the other members of the squad. The
Yeah.
gulag gives you guys a chance to like have the whole team get fucking wiped and still like be in the game. You know what I mean? So that is one thing that I think is really strong about it. Another thing that I really like about it is the fact that like range is such a like thing in this game. I've played a lot of Apex Legends, and it really gets to the point where it's like if you're shooting at somebody that is more than 10 meters away from you, you're fucking up because even if you're hitting them, you're probably not gonna
Kill
down them. Yeah, you're probably
Mhm.
not going to kill them. They're just going to heal up. If you do down them, they probably have a teammate with them who's going to pick them up. And all you're doing is just like inviting other people to come third party you. Because you can
Cherry
hear those
pick ya.
guns. Yeah, you can hear those guns from like a really far away.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I really like, another thing I really like about this game is just like the overall map design. Like the world itself is a big reason of why range is so important. There's a lot of like verticality. There's a lot of like flat open areas where you can do 1,000 meters away. You can look down a scope and see somebody like really far away. And that's kind of something that, again, comparing this to Apex Legends, because that's just the most recent one I have.
Sure.
Uh, that that terrain was very enclosed. Like they obscured long lines of sight as much as possible. It seems like, which meant that sniping in that game wasn't really much of a thing. Like you could kind of do it, but uh, it was never the most viable strategy, and it kind of
Yeah.
just left you open.
Oh yeah.
This game, long range engagements are really cool. In fact, uh, it kind of has that PUBG thing where the smaller the field gets, the longer the average range of engagement gets. Um, the weird thing about this one compared to pretty much every other battle royale I have played is that the final circles are very like packed.
Mhm.
Like when you get to the point where you're within 1,000 square feet of like safe space, there's like 7-8 teams still in that space with you.
What?
It's fucking crazy.
I thought by the time I got
Like,
down to that point, there's most games would have you down to like maybe
I mean, you have to
5 or 6
remember
players
the
left.
you have to remember the
Yeah,
player count
no, I
that's in
mean,
this game. It's like 150,
it's
200 these times.
150. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
50 squads of 3, so it's 150 people. And
Wow.
the gulag, like I was saying,
Lets people come back. Yeah.
lets people come back and lets them come back with more frequency, because you can die and like be respawned several times.
Well,
In
you can also, if you can either come back via the gulag, or your teammates, if they have
Right.
enough money, can
Can
buy you back.
and it's really easy to accumulate money in this game, to the
Mhm.
point where like in a typical game at this point, I'm now like I'm hitting buy stations 2 or 3 times in a match, and I'm buying all sorts of loadout drops and respawns and kill streaks, because that's a big thing.
Mhm.
I don't know if I talked about that last time, the inventory specifically.
Mm-mm.
No.
But you have Call of Duty kill streaks as
Those
like
are customizable. You can swap out. You can choose what kill streak you want to take into the game, or
you can
are
set
you
up.
finding them in the game?
You're mostly finding them in the game or buying them from buy stations,
Yep.
and they function just like the multiplayer kill streaks do. So like you can have a UAV fly over, and it'll show you everybody within a certain radius of you, or you can
Gotcha.
have like kill strikes come or airstrikes come in and like kill people.
Mhm.
You can do like have them drop bombs. Like I mean, there's a whole bunch of different crazy shit you can do, and that adds a level of like danger that I don't think a lot of other battle royales have.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Because like a fucking screaming death can just come at you from out of the sky, like pretty much at any moment.
Yeah.
And
It's
you know, kill streaks have the potential to. I'm not. I'm only familiar with kill streaks and how they relate to like your standard Call of Duty game, but I would imagine kill streaks hold the potential to wipe out quite a few players off the map
yeah.
at one
So
time.
like I was talking about how sniping is such a thing in this game,
Yeah.
and verticality kind of plays into that. Rooftops are really popular spots for people,
Hmm.
and you can get pinned down by someone on a rooftop with a long range rifle really easily. And a lot of times, your only recourse is something like a kill streak to literally just like fucking burn the top of that building
So
off.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
so if you that's if you're playing there's two different modes. There's the
Well, there's like the battle royale mode, which is the classic, and then
Yeah.
there's
uh,
plunder.
plunder. So yeah, if you're playing plunder, you don't stay dead when you die. You come back, and there's definitely been times where in the few matches that I've played, I've come back and you parachute in, and yeah, there's like a rooftop filled with dudes, and
Yeah.
I just fucking sneak up on them and take them all out. Because it's dangerous to be on a rooftop when people can come back at any minute. You can't just look down and I'm safe. You got to be constantly looking above you as well.
Yes.
So
Kill
so-
streaks aside.
Yeah, so kill streaks themselves, I had a question about.
Yeah.
So when you have your character, obviously there's a little bit of a character creator going, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Okay. So with that, do you assign any kill streaks to your character based on what you're
No,
doing?
so just like a battle royale, like any other battle royale, you drop in completely like unequipped.
Okay.
They give you a pistol, which is more than a lot of games give you. But that's it.
Okay.
You have a menu where you can set up like 10 or 12 different custom loadouts. So a primary weapon, a secondary weapon, 3 of the perks, and then like tactical and a lethal grenade. Okay.
Okay.
So you can set up these custom loadouts just like you would if you were playing Modern Warfare multiplayer, but you don't drop in with them. You have to acquire them throughout the game.
Okay.
Uh,
And so
have to,
you're purchasing or you're finding in the environment like a care package, right?
right, so they'll drop loadout packages that people fight over, or you can buy a loadout drop from a buy station, and they'll drop one that only your team can use.
Okay.
But yeah, when you interact with that, it's basically just your loadout menu, and you get to pick one of your loadouts, and it equips you with everything from that loadout.
And the way those kill streaks function is that you can actually upgrade their power by actually getting kills, right?
No,
Okay, I thought I
No,
read
it's
that.
it's just maybe I don't think so. But they're just items. They're consumable items that you
Okay.
find. So like you'll get a kill streak, and it basically just gives you like the, like if you were playing multiplayer where it's like, oh, you've unlocked a kill streak, you can use it now. But as far as I know, they all function basically the same. I don't think you can make it more powerful by getting kills while you're holding.
Okay. So I was wondering if like you could unlock special kill streaks based on how well you're doing in a match. I'm basically alluding
the
to
whole
my
dynamic-
question. Yeah, how the dynamic
The
works,
whole
but
dynamic of a game like this is totally different than
Yeah,
standard.
so I mean, they're
Very
like the
much,
kill
yeah.
streaks
Yeah.
are already such an advantage that like it doesn't really even make sense to ramp up their power. And I don't even think all the kill streaks that are available in the standard multiplayer are in Warzone.
Gotcha.
so
I could be wrong about that.
and there's no nuke, right?
No, there's no nuke.
Okay.
No, that would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
wild.
But if you're
That would
getting
be wild
25
in a
kills in a
battle royale.
fucking battle royale, then you
Yeah.
kind of deserve it. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, so there's a couple things. Mike Falcon G in chat said that the best weapon in the game at the moment are vehicles, and that's kind of true. It is really easy to run people down in vehicles if you catch them out in the open, and it's very fun.
Hit and run.
Pixel 3 said heard 3 UAVs at the same time gives ultimate UAV, and that is true. If all 3 members of your squad have the UAV and you activate them at the same time, instead of being like this um, pulsing like showing you last location on the map style of radar, it actually like gives you a live up to the minute like real time feed on where everybody is and where they're moving. It's really
Damn.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
It sounds like they did a pretty good job of adapting Call of Duty's like popular multiplayer mechanics to Battle Royale as a genre. Like that, this sounds like, in my opinion, probably sounds like one of the most interesting Battle Royales you can play in the market right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert of the genre, but it sounds awesome.
It's really cool. It can be frustrating. I'm playing on PS4 because I literally can't play on my PC because I don't have a high enough version of Windows to run it. Yeah. But the kind of frustrating thing is that they do crossplay, which I get why they do that, and it's probably a good idea. And I don't really know how they decide who goes into what servers. Like if they are trying their damnedest to keep
it balanced,
to keep PS4 people with PS4 people, but like if a PS4 and a PC player wanted to play together, they could. But there have been times where I've been killed by somebody, and it's like that guy's using a mouse and keyboard, and there's nothing I could have done about that. Like he just has way more responsiveness than I do.
Yeah,
and that's a little frustrating. But I get why they did it. I get why.
Sometimes just being able to play with someone is more important than whether or not it's balanced the same. I guess depending.
That's true. I mean, that's something that Fortnite does, but like, Fortnite doesn't balance anything.
Yeah.
like, but yeah, that is big. Like, I'm really into it. I think it's one of the better permutations of Battle Royale out there. And it still pisses me the fuck off. Like, still like, I'll play like 2 or 3 matches and be like, I can't do this. I have to play Overwatch.
Nolan, are you gonna keep playing more of it?
I mean, only if I can get some people to squad up with me, because getting put with.
Are you playing on PS4?
I currently have it on PS4. Yeah. Getting people that don't have mics is just infuriating.
I'll download it. Technically, the 3 of us could squad up, right?
We could.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating, and multiple. I probably played, I don't know, maybe 6-7 matches, not too many. And I've never had a single person with a mic. Multiple times I've had a full team of 3 and someone drops out before the match even starts, and so now it's we're a team of 2.
It's super frustrating playing with random people.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If I don't see myself, at least in the immediate future, playing this anymore if I'm by myself. I did that quite often with Apex Legends, but I found that 90% of people on playing Apex Legends had a mic.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I was playing on PC, and I don't know too many PC gamers who don't have a fucking mic.
Yeah.
PS4 I could understand a little bit more. But yeah, Apex Legends I played, I would say maybe half to maybe 2/3 of all of what I played of that was with random people, and I had some great fucking times doing it. But like I said, it's cute when you're like that fucking, playing a game can be fun. It can be like, up here, but then as soon as you add in the communication with other people, it just fucking brings it
Elevates
way
the whole
higher.
thing, yeah.
Just the ability to just have a conversation with them, to say, hey, enemies are over here. Hey, the game allows you to ping enemies and do this, but I mean, it's kind of almost too granular. And like, oh, I tried to tag an enemy, but he moved, and I kind of have to tag about where he was, and it's not the same. Whereas when you can have that conversation with people, and you can plan more, and you can have that kind of experience with someone else.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just so much better.
Sweet. Well, I would like to try it. People in chat are warning me that if I don't own Modern Warfare, which I don't currently, it's going to take a while to download because it's massive.
Yes, it is pretty big. It took a long time to download. I guess the nice thing is it will let you start playing the game before it finishes downloading, but not the multiplayer. You can just kind of go in some of like the tutorials and stuff and get familiar with the mechanics and whatever.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start downloading it
downloads
tonight so that it'll download tonight and most of tomorrow if it's not done yet. But yeah, it's cool. I look forward to trying it. I've been wanting to jump into a Battle Royale for a while. This seems like maybe the best choice. All right, let's take a quick break. Stretch your legs, come back. We'll talk about Half-Life Alyx. And then we got a couple quick news items. We'll answer a few questions, and then we'll wrap up with the 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are now going to talk about Half-Life Alyx.
Can I open with a question before I duck out?
Here we go.
Sure.
Why would they
The
make
question you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This game is in VR. It's all
Yes.
about like interactivity with your environment and stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
Picking up stuff, using stuff.
Absolutely.
Would you say that the crowbar is one of the most iconic parts of the Half-Life series? And why is there no melee in this game?
For Gordon Freeman?
Why,
Yes.
why is there no
Not
melee
Alyx
in this game?
Vance.
I'm gonna be honest. You wanted to, you said you wanted to duck out of this conversation, but you're already asking me something I wanted to talk about.
Why there's no melee?
It's more of that, like, there's no melee when and aside from the fact that thinking of Half-Life as a game that heavily involves melee, it should have melee, but like there are moments in the game where I pick something up where I feel like this very much feels like something I should be able to beat something with.
Like
And
a
it-
pipe.
Yeah, so like there's be several times you come up to a door and there's like a pipe through the fucking handle. So you pull it out. It's like, oh, they very obviously want you to pick up the pipe. So I expected the next thing they're gonna do is give me an enemy to hit with it. Nope, nothing. You hit them and like it just bounces off them. So that in and of itself right there bugs me.
Mhm.
That is one of the
Right.
very few things about this game so far that bugs me. But
Really,
I-
you can't like hit people. with
There's
stuff?
no
can't-
melee.
So there is no melee. You can't hit, at least not yet. There's nothing that you can use as a weapon.
Well,
However, there are.
what you can do is you can pick up objects in the environment and throw them at enemies, and they will react to it.
They will.
They will react, but it does no damage to them.
Yeah.
You could throw 10,000 boxes at a guy, he will be just fine.
Yeah.
You put a couple
so-
bullets
so
in him and he'll
weird.
die.
That's so weird. For
It is
Half-Life,
very
though.
weird, but the trade-off, and this is kind of leading off of what Chris Davis just said, and this is actually my opinion, a very cool trade-off is the amount of like creativity and freedom you have picking up items in the environment and using them to your advantage. So a lot of you may have seen one of the tweets I put out yesterday had this GIF in it, and there's a head crab about to jump, and a guy picked up a chair, like a rolly chair,
Mhm.
and was holding it as a shield. And as it jumped at his head, he like grabbed it in midair and directed it out of a window.
Well,
like-
I've used a crate, and I've like caught a head crab in a crate, and then throw the crate on the ground, and like the head
Yeah.
crab's under the crate. You can do some pretty interesting stuff.
You have
But
a-
yes,
you have a lot of freedom when you're holding something or manipulating something with your hands. You have a lot of freedom to do most anything that you can think of, except apparently hit things with to do damage.
Mhm.
It's kind of a strange omission. Admittedly, I would say if you ask somebody like Brad just asked if crowbars are iconic when it comes to Half-Life, I think some people might argue that they're iconic to Gordon Freeman, who you are
Yeah.
not playing as in this game. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of a cheap excuse.
And the iconic thing, I guess, for Alex's character is her multi-tool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
but
so
her
the thing that-
multi-tool doesn't really do anything in combat.
combat.
It's
I
just
mean-
outside of combat used to solve some puzzles.
But those puzzles, let me just say, those
Yeah.
puzzles
Those puzzles
are
are fucking-
really, really cool.
Fucking great.
I'm constantly kind of just shocked and awed by like how much freedom. So you use the multi-tool to create these like holograms that like float in the air, and then you can grab the hologram with your hand and move it around, and you have to use the multi-tools. You have to do different things, but like they oftentimes involve like using the multi-tool to create lasers and like like move them through.
It's almost like
hologram-
let's say like BioShock-esque like puzzle solving when you're trying to unlock a door by running the liquid or whatever through the pipes. It's the same thing. You're a flow of electricity, and you're tracing it through the walls, and you have to maybe manipulate a circuit to like unlock a door or do something like that.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to start off with was I was kind of worried about this game
Mhm.
in the sense that I'd never seen anything of it until I started playing it. It's not one of those things where we saw a bunch of trailers for it. You know what I'm saying? I'd never seen gameplay.
Hell, you hadn't even played Half-Life 2 until very, very recently. So
Well, yes, but I'm referring specifically in this case to
Yeah,
VR.
they didn't even release gameplay footage of this game until about 3 weeks ago.
So my issue was the most recent game I have played that is most similar to this is Boneworks, and I can't play even 5 minutes of that game without kind of getting nauseous.
Yeah.
Only VR game, and I was worried that this was going to be like that. Not at all. I played this game. I think the longest sitting I've done is like over an hour and a half, and I came out the same as any long VR session. You take off the headset and you're kind of like funky for a couple of seconds, coming back into reality. But I'm extremely impressed with how detailed this world is, how physicsy it is, and how it has no adverse effects, at least on.
Yeah, like one of the craziest things I associate most VR games that I've played so far. Like I love VR, I love the way it looks, but the trade-off is, VR tends to have this like kind of like fuzziness to it, like blur, like where everything's not like quite. So a lot of times I'll be playing a game and I'm like, this looks amazing, but when you try to like read something in front of you, sometimes you can't quite make it out because everything's a little fuzzy. This game is like the crispest.
It is crisp as fuck.
Yeah,
beautiful,
dude. Like
VR
the first time you encounter Russell, the character, I was just like staring at his face for like 2 minutes, and Bernadette was there with me. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm like, he looks really good.
Just look at him.
Dude, yeah, I was like, look at his face and look at his beard, and just like, however, it's a very technically impressive looking game. And that being said, I am literally playing on the lowest settings. Because when I booted up the game was like, hey, based on your hardware, you should play on low.
So here's the thing. So I got the same message. I bumped it up to medium and even high, and I haven't seen not only have I not seen like a difference in terms of like the way it looks or runs, but it's almost just no difference at all.
Yeah.
Because of that fact that I was like, I'm just going to play it on medium because it seems like it's probably like the nice middle ground. It's telling me to run it on low, but I've been playing on medium the entire time and had no issues.
I think it most likely is that the higher the fidelity you set it to, the lower the frame rate is going to be. And depending on the person, maybe that might affect them.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask, the next thing I wanted to ask both of y'all is, what is the gameplay style you're playing in? Are you playing completely free roam? Are you?
So that was a big point of contention for me, because so you first started playing it like 2 days ago, right?
Something like that,
yeah. The day it released, there was a bug in the game. You could turn on, like you could toggle the quick turning, the snap turning effect off, but it didn't do anything. So you would always be snap turning. And I played it for like an hour and a half for that first night. I streamed it, and I was like, this is really cool, but I don't think I'm going to play any more of it until they fix that bug. And the next day they patched it. So
did you try without snap turning, with like free turn?
I mean, that's what I was trying, but it wouldn't turn it
bugged.
off.
It wouldn't
like
work.
when you turned it on to free turning, it was still quick turning. Like it just completely ignored the setting altogether. So they fixed that. So now I'm playing continuous turning.
I can't do the continuous turn.
Like at all?
Like it weirds me out. Like it kind of throws me off when you're doing like the free motion and continuous turn.
Are you standing or sitting while you're playing?
Standing.
I tried sitting down playing with continuous turn, and it kind of messed with me more. So like if I'm standing up while doing it, it doesn't really bother me much.
Yeah, I'm standing up when I'm playing, and this is continuous turn footage, so I'm not having an issue.
But they have a lot of different options in this game, and it's one of those situations where everybody handles VR a little bit differently. This game has quite a few different toggles and options you can mess with to kind of find the perfect balance. But yeah, I've been playing with continuous turn, and I forgot what it's called, but there's something about standing and crouching, and it's worded strangely, but like this is one of the few games I've played where instead of having like a button to like toggle crouching, you can play it so that when you need to like duck under something, you physically in real life.
Yeah, I have that enabled.
Yeah.
So I am. Yeah.
Works pretty well.
Ducking under things. Yeah, no, it does.
Except there's the two things that bug me control wise in this game. There's no running and there's no jumping.
Yes and no.
The jumping
there is a jump, but it's a teleport.
It's a teleport. Yeah. There's a difference.
This is the first time tonight I've been actually looking at any of the footage. Chris Davis, do you constantly see those grid lines when you're playing, or is that just the footage?
That's the limitation of this play area for me. What you're seeing behind me is my play area for VR, so it's not very big.
Gotcha.
So
But,
I'm
like,
constantly getting really close to like the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my problem.
I mean, yeah, that definitely sucks. I would, if I was you, I would try to.
You can turn that off so it doesn't
Well,
show it.
no, I don't. You definitely want to know when you're getting close
Yeah.
to something. But I would say maybe almost like use it as a if you're in like a square area, maybe stand on one side of the square so you have more room in front of you. You can always move yourself in the game, so instead of physically turning around in the real world, you can move your character. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
I would-
mainly doing. Yeah.
okay.
It's just
So-
I'm slightly what's happening is I'm slightly turning myself instead of turning the character if I want to grab something that's just right off to the side, and that's eventually getting me pointed in the wrong direction. And that's getting me close to the wall. That's what's happening.
Gotcha.
Looks like he probably corrected himself. So, but this game
Mm-hmm.
does some. There's this weird
This game
thing
is
that
impressive as fuck.
It's kind of
Like
insane.
everything I've done, it's one of those situations where even in VR games and other games, whatever, you go up to a container, a chest, or something, and in most games in the past, you kind of just like scroll through what's in there. But instead, now I'm physically leaning over, picking up the lid, digging through,
pulling
this thing
stuff
to
off
find
shelves.
Yeah, it is extremely impressive how tactile everything is, how well it works, how when I go and reach for something and grab it, like it does exactly what I think it's going to do. It's not a kind of like a goofy kind of weird like, oh, let me kind of do this, maybe it might. No, it is exactly what you would think it would be.
Yeah, it's multiple times playing this game, I've had this thought where I've just been like, how? Like this is possible now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think that's kind of a staple of the Half-Life franchise in general. It's been one of these like whenever a new game comes out in the franchise, it's got to be noteworthy for some reason or another.
It's got to be a technology demonstrator.
Yeah, and I was a little worried about this because and there's a lot of talk about modding this game to make it playable outside of VR, to make it more accessible. And I totally
it wouldn't
get
be worth it.
I don't think it would be worth it either. And
you're not going to get the same effect. One of the
would not
things
make
that
it a
makes
bad
this
game.
Good is how VR interacts, how you interact with the world via VR. I think without that, it definitely would not be as good.
Like I feel like this puzzle right here just would not work.
I mean, you could do it, but you don't get the same sense when you're not playing it in VR. I think.
I mean, there's already people working on a mod for that. So
oh yeah, Valve was already expecting
and
to do that.
and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have a VR and you're never going to get if you're not going to get a VR in the next 10 years, and you really want to play this game, I mean, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, it kind of sucks, but I think that's if that's your only option, why there you go. You at least have an option to play this game, but you're missing out greatly because the VR in this game is unlike any game I've ever played. And I kind of wanted to bring up, I briefly mentioned it before, but like Boneworks, and Boneworks is the closest game I can think of that's similar to this. And I unfortunately can't play that game. I really wish I could. Nick, I think you should try that one out. I'm curious as to how you would feel playing it.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe, we did.
Yeah.
And maybe it is my settings. Maybe if I had a more powerful computer that could, display it at a higher frame rate, maybe that would help. I don't know if that could be it. I know that is an issue with some people, but for some reason that game just does not gel well with me. And I've tried it 3 or 4 times. Unfortunately, I can't return it on Steam because it's been too long since I purchased it, which sucks. So I just own the game. But
I wouldn't mind trying it.
The difference I would say that and this are extremely similar, except the difference between that and this is that game does have melee, which can be satisfying. But this game is still 10 times more polished than Boneworks.
It's incredibly polished, and it feels like I was worried that when this game was announced, and I was like, "Oh, they're doing a prequel instead of like going to do a sequel and answering the questions everybody would want answered. And I was worried if that was going to feel cheap or like or less interesting because of that. But like I'm finding myself really, even though I kind of know what obviously happens after this game concludes and everything, like I'm really into the presentation of or the characterization of Alyx. I'm really like Russell is a great character. Was Russell in any of the other games?
No, he's a new character.
He is so good.
Yeah.
He is so good, so funny. But none of it feels out of place. And the dialogue between them two over the radios is fantastic. I can't get enough of it.
There's some pretty good writing.
But I'm also just kind of like this is there's two things that stand out to me about this game functionally that I think are just incredible achievements. And one is the wrist flicking.
Oh, it's so good.
Picking up items in this game is so satisfying and so just pointing at something. And they actually give you like the gloves and explain them in like the lore as to why it works. So it
You
doesn't
mean
just
the
feel like
Russells?
the Russells. So it doesn't just it doesn't feel like some just cheap VR thing because they don't want, it's in the lore and it's so satisfying. You can just point at something and hold the button and like flick your wrist and just it pulls.
But
it
that's
to
the thing,
you,
you're
and
not
you have
done.
to grab it.
You
have to grab it out of the
catch
air,
and that is extremely satisfying. With a lot of other VR games in the not too distant recent past, you point at something and it just zooms into your hand. I think that's how Bone works. Is you point at something, you grab, and it just flies into your hand, and now you have it. It feels realistic in that you're using some sort of gravitational device to pull something towards you, but it wouldn't make sense for it to just all of a sudden be in your hand. Like, how does that work? But the fact that you're just now moving it towards you and you grab it out of air is extremely satisfying, especially when you are low on ammo, you empty a magazine, you fling one from the environment and load it back into your gun. It's super satisfying.
And speaking of your gun, just the feel of using a weapon in this game is so satisfying, and how free form it is, and you can just it moves in any direction in any way you want it to, and how tactile it feels to like reach in behind your shoulder and pull out a magazine, eject the other one, and then slide the new one in. It's so cool. You can even like, if you have a shell already in the chamber, you can pull the whatchamacallit back and like watch it. Yeah, you can pull the slide back and pop it out. Like, it's so tactile. It feels so good. When you load the shotgun, you have to like you crack it open and you have to like put each individual shell in. And when you're doing that in the midst of like combat,
you can. Oh yeah, it is. You can. I don't know the terminology for that type of shotgun. When you're closing the chamber,
breach action,
maybe,
or like the front of it folds forward, so you're.
Yeah, and then it's like the barrel's open in the back, and you put the shells in. That's a breach action.
What do you call the act of closing that?
Closing.
Is there a term for that? I don't know, but when you, because you can flick it backwards to close it, and that's extremely satisfying to open it, load it, flick back, and all of a sudden you can press a button and it will close it, but it's nowhere near as satisfying as the flick. It's also actually even like easier. I'll be honest, it is to find the button on the controller to close it.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever used the button to cose the shotgun. I've always flicked it because like, oh, this is gonna feel nice. I had this moment while I was streaming the other day. That was just kind of like the first moment where I was like, this is kind of insane, and it's just like, we talk about it a lot in a lot of games where just different parts of a environment and mechanics work together really seamlessly. So you're collecting these, I forget what they're called, but you collect them to upgrade
the resin.
Yeah, the resin. Is you're constantly keeping your eyes peeled.
There are so many resins hidden in so many fucking places.
I'm constantly, that's the reason this game is going to take me like 20 plus hours to finish. I've played for 5 hours. I'm still at the very beginning of chapter 4.
Every time I'm in a new environment, I just look around and fucking under and up and everything to try and find the resin.
It's so good. But like, so I was walking through the train yard, and they have the barnacles things with the tongues that hang down, right? And there was a piece of resin sitting on the train, on like the deck of the train. So I was like, well, I'm not going to walk over and grab it because all these tongues are hanging down or whatever. So I just like used my flick and I like pulled it towards me, and it hit one of the tongues. and I was like, shit, and it starts eating the resin, like rising up into its mouth, and then it ate it. And I was like, fuck, did I just lose it? So I just pulled out my gun and I just unloaded a clip into the thing, and it died, and the resin just fell back out of it. And I was like, that's so good. It's so, like, everything just works so beautifully. Chef's kiss. So good. So good.
I don't know. Like I said, we had kind of talked about it leading up to this. How no one really knows what it is. How the Twitter account is Half-Life 3 out yet. Doesn't know. Their most recent tweet was like, yes, no, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But one of the things we talked about was this game 13 years in the making to an extent. It's got to be.
It's gotta be big.
One of the best VR games ever, and holy fuck, I've only played it for like 3 hours, but it's, dude, the first time you enter a dark environment, holy fuck, I like fucking scared. Yeah. Like I can't see anything. There's creepy noises. It's like everything looks good. So much physics. Like it is intense.
Like head crabs were always an annoyance in Half-Life. Then here they're kind of terrifying.
Yeah, you actually have to like dodge to the side.
Thankfully, they are slower than in the original Half-Life 2. They're a little bit slower than they were in that, but that's just because, first off, you're often facing more than one. Yeah, there was that one time where there was like fucking 5 of them.
Yeah. Not to mention the armored ones now.
Oh, fuck the armored ones. And there's more of them. But then also, I miss shots with my gun all the time. It's real physics. So if the bullet's an inch to the right, it's an inch to the right. I didn't make it. I didn't get a hit. And so it's easy to miss head crabs because they're kind of small. So you have to very much aim down your sights, but then you're kind of slowing down. So it makes sense that they slowed them down a bit. The one frustration I had so far is, I guess we can say in regards to like melee or whatever, is that head crab's gotten me before and I couldn't like knock it off my head. I had to shoot it off my face.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there is a
way. Which
seems
dangerous.
Because Russell was like, "Oh, knock it, like get it off or something," and I'm assuming. So I was just fucking doing this, trying to like knock the head crab off, but it wasn't working, and I ended up having to shoot it. I don't know if that is the only way you can get them off, or
it happened to me once. I had to do it too.
I have to wonder if you could actually catch one in midair. I want to try that.
Let's
go for it and report back.
I'm gonna try.
Green Goddamn brought up you can't grab it with both hands, and it maybe I was only using one hand.
Maybe you have to like grab it and like pull it.
Yeah, well, it's because I had my gun still out, and I was just trying to like hit it with the gun. I didn't think to put your gun away and then grab it. Maybe I could try that next time because I'm sure it will happen again.
But that's the thing about this game is that there's so many of these questions that you're so excited to find out.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to explore and experiment with just because it's so physics based. And I'm loving it, man. I'm fucking loving it. Like I said, I've only gotten through the first 3 chapters. Some cool stuff has already happened. I'm totally into it. I'm always excited to see what the next area I'm going to go into. I'm always excited to see what comes around the corner because it's very atmospheric. It's very well paced and spaced out. The puzzles are super unique. Every time you upgrade a weapon, it physically changes the look of the weapon, and in some cases, the functionality. It's really, really cool. And I'm thinking to myself, like, if and when they mod this or port it even to something without VR, I keep asking myself, would it be a different game? Would it be a bad game? And I feel like the answer to my question is, was the 13-year wait worth it? And right now I feel like the answer is maybe yes. But if you take the VR out of the equation, I feel like the answer would most certainly be no.
Yeah,
because it would just be another Half-Life game.
It'd be like a very linear shooter that has surprisingly little combat, considering the rest of Half-Life, the franchise.
So far, and we still. This game is very long. Like they've already, it's like 15 chapters or something along those lines, and I'm like 5 hours in. I'm barely through the first 3, so it's a pretty lengthy game. So
how long is it?
Most people are saying between 15 to 20 hours, maybe more.
Okay.
So a lot of meat left on it. We're gonna keep playing it. We'll talk more about it.
The one thing I will say is a couple of times I've because I spend a lot of time exploring environments. There's been a couple of times where I've died and had to go back pretty far. First off, this is the first game I've ever personally seen that when I bring up my list of saves, it tells me how many minutes ago my last save was.
Yeah.
And that's just fucking like sometimes
Mind-blowing.
games have you saved at 9:05. Cool. But this is literally like 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are other games that do it, but this is one of the first one that's kind of like been very obvious to me.
Yeah.
That's how much progress I've made or how much I'll have to go back. But like I said, I've died and like my last autosave was like 8 minutes ago, and it's like, fuck, I gotta do all this shit over again. But there is like there's a quick save, but it's not as like, I guess, easy, and I've started doing it more frequently now, just to prevent that.
Also, I just want to throw out something that Nick mentioned like the other day in Twitter with the magazines, how Alyx will actually talk about how much ammunition she has instead of just like,
well, if you're getting
at a
low
display.
Yeah,
because like every time you pull out, I like how it shows you how many bullets you have like on the grip of the gun.
Yeah,
which is really cool,
or on
but,
your
like,
glove, your left glove.
Yeah, but if you don't, the magazines that you collect just go in your backpack, so you can't really see how many you have. But when you start to get when you hit like certain thresholds, like
it'll be like
when you
only
have
4
3
left.
clips, yeah, when you hit 3 left, you'll be like, yeah, only three magazines left, and you're like, boom, I know I'm getting low.
I fucking love that. The last game that I can remember that actually tried doing something like that was the fucking King tie-in game from 2006.
Jesus Christ!
Wow,
and that was actually really kind of cool.
That was the first game I played on the Xbox 360.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, we have a lot more to go, a lot farther, a lot more meat. Oh my god! Thanks. Welcome back.
Oh,
Brad.
my mic is on the whole time.
We're done talking about Half-Life, Alyx.
I was just watching Sci-Fi stream while y'all were talking, and you know who was in chat? I didn't recognize him at first. Mo Chocolate. Mo Chocolate from season 2 of The Tester. Remember, I used to watch The Tester on our stream like 10 years ago.
I forgot about that.
Mo Chocolate was just in chat.
Yeah, well, Sci-Fi says that he's sort of he just showed up.
Yeah, he was in our chat.
So back when we used to stream The Tester, he would show up in chat because I was like obsessed with Mo Chocolate, because he was like this. I don't know. He was kind of a nerdy dude. I maybe he's not nerdy now. I don't know. It was 10 years ago, but he was funny, and his name was Mo Chocolate.
Yeah,
and then he showed up and he said, "Hey, I'm Mo Chocolate." Apparently, he's kept in touch with some of the people like that were. There's a lot of actually old people watching sci-fi right now, but it was it's pretty funny. Mo Chocolate.
Welcome back to the show, Brad.
I don't think he's watching our stream right now. I think he's watching.
I'm gonna name this episode the Mo Chocolate Show. And
Mo
just
Chocolate.
See if
you could still find his promo video on YouTube. I just watched it. His promo video that he did for The Tester, like his the video that introduced like his character on the show. Sure. You should watch it. Search The Tester Mo Chocolate.
I'll get right on it.
This is very good.
Well, Brad, since you were
also Zocano says hi.
That punk ass.
In Riding MGS.
What? Really?
They didn't actually say hi, but they were there.
Son of a bitch.
Mo Chocolate. Sorry.
Do you need a minute, Brad?
It still makes me laugh after all these years.
Some people
remember the Tester? Jack almost got on the Tester.
I do remember that. That's like
he was beat out by the fucking Game Grumps dude.
I don't know.
I don't
know,
dude.
God. Y'all know who I'm talking
Ego
about.
Raptor?
I don't.
Yeah, Ego Raptor.
Brad, I don't think you realize how little I interact with the internet outside of this podcast and a couple of like random...
It's this and memes. That's it. And cringe videos.
Like I don't really watch other YouTube channels besides like Bon Appetit and like Smarter Every Day. I don't watch any. I really don't watch anything gaming related.
Sure. Not that Mo Chocolate was like
we're really
Ego Raptor level back then. But he does say he's a full-time streamer now. So,
I'm gonna put in the notes for this show.
I
we
have
talked
no
about-
you know what? It was 10 years ago, and I never even met the dude, but I bet he has a quality stream.
I'm gonna put this in the notes. It's gonna say on this episode we talked about Animal Crossing Horizons, New Horizons, Half-Life Alyx, and Mo Chocolate. It's true. All right, are we ready to move on?
I hope we are.
So,
Brad, were you impressed by our Half-Life Alyx discussion?
It was long.
Yeah,
I was
there's a lot
not listening to it.
I know.
But
That's
I'm
the
sure it
joke.
was great.
There's a lot to unpack. It's a good game. You should play it.
The last thing I heard was you talking about some viral GIF where someone deflects a head crab out a window.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Have you had moments like that, or
Yeah.
just the GIF? Yeah.
mhm.
I've
Okay.
had
Oh yeah,
Although-
definitely.
I'll be honest. Ever since I saw that GIF, I was like, I have to try that. Like, cause I.
All right.
But I.
Well, that's the kind of stuff I want to experience for the first time myself. So,
But that's also like something I never would have thought to try. So like, the fact that I saw somebody else do it makes it maybe more likely that I would actually try it.
or you could
I-
play
I-
Black Mesa on the default difficulty and kill every head crab with one bullet because it's like way too easy for some reason. Don't play that on the default difficulty.
Are you saying playing it on hard?
Well, whatever, not the default difficulty is.
What he's saying is that
No, it
only,
isn't.
only elite gamers should play it on hard.
Well, I mean, in the
It's
original
feisty.
Half-Life, it definitely wasn't. You weren't killing head crabs in one bullet. So.
We have some news to talk about. Am I right, Brad?
Sort of. I mean,
Just
a little bit.
a few small things. Obviously, there's a lot more important things happening in the world right now than video game news, but there's been some stuff. I think this morning, one of the first things I saw this morning, which is maybe some of the bigger news this week, was Epic Games has started their really kicking into gear the publishing side of their business and have signed new contracts with several high-profile developers, including Playdead. But perhaps the bigger thing, the one that's kind of been making the rounds today, headline-wise, has been Remedy signed on to develop 2 games for Epic, 2 multi-platform games. And what's important about this specifically is the deal is Epic Games is focusing on, or their publishing side, their driving force, I guess you would call it, is basically saying they're siding with the developers, so that the developers get to, like, the agreement, the arrangement that the contracts that they make benefit the developer more than maybe most publishing deals. So Remedy is going to be developing 2 multi-platform games from the same franchise for Epic, and they're going to be keeping the IP, so it's not going to be owned by Epic or anything like that, which is kind of a big deal.
Well, okay, you sort of also left off, maybe even bearing the lead. I know you love Control. It almost didn't make your list, but you like Remedy. Well, you like one of Remedy's games.
Go, you fucking piece of shit. I like 3 Remedy games.
It also says, besides Playdead and Remedy, it says The Last Guardian developers.
Oh, right. I was trying to remember what the third developer was on that list.
Is that the studio that Fumito Ueda formed when he sort of became freelance and left Sony officially?
I mean, I think at this point it's all speculation.
That's
Maybe.
a big deal, right?
It-
Because
I
I feel
mean,
like
yeah.
Fumito Ueda just needs a very wealthy publisher to give him the money that he needs to do his weird thing. So that's kind of exciting, right?
As
It
long
is.
as he can develop his games in a reasonable amount of time.
Shut up, Chris Davis.
Dude, we only
kept
waited
talking about
35
Half-Life.
years for fucking,
Yeah, how long do we wait for a new Half-Life game?
That's
It
Valve.
doesn't mean it does not mean that people are happy they had to wait that long.
Yeah.
But anyways, you have a good point. I forgot Fumito Ueda was included in that list. But those 3 developers are all developers I would like to see more projects from. So that's exciting news. I don't know if this new project from Remedy is a new IP that they're getting to keep after developing it, or if it's going to be a sequel to an existing franchise that
What?
obviously wasn't included.
Well, I thought the text to the news specifically was saying that there was a main project that was going to be a new IP, and then there was a smaller side project set within an existing franchise.
You might be right. It seems the implication seems to be that it's new IP. I don't know if that was said explicitly, but that's a lot of people are like, "Ooh, they're gonna make Alan Wake 2." But the verbiage about them being able to keep their IP makes me think it's not Alan Wake, because as far as I know, Microsoft still owns the rights to Alan Wake.
All right, so here's the specific wording for Sam Lake. Working on 2 multi-platform games for next-gen consoles and PC, published by Epic Games. First project is our most ambitious one yet, a AAA game already in pre-production. The second is a new, smaller scale project set in the same franchise. So I was wrong. I apologize.
No, I mean, it didn't explicitly say it, but it certainly sounds like the implication is that whatever they're making is new. But that's exciting. Not really much to report on beyond that. It's exciting to see Epic getting into. They have a lot of money to throw around, obviously, because of the success of Fortnite, and if they're going to use it to fund exciting projects from developers I love, that sounds great. The other news today was the Nintendo Direct, and as you so eloquently put it earlier, Brad, I'm going to hand it off to you.
You know nothing about any
I know
Nintendo Direct ever.
First of all, this was a surprise Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it was a mini. There not much was there.
I mean, I know what was announced. I could tell you what I know was announced.
Let me guess. You know about the Borderlands games coming to Switch?
Borderlands and BioShock.
Just fuck with you.
You piece of shit.
There's that Xenoblade games coming out soon.
Xenoblade,
the remaster. I guess that's not news. So I tried one of the things. I wanted to try a couple of things that came out today. There's a few things that launched today that were announced in this Nintendo Direct Mini. One of them was a Bravely Default 2 demo, which is kind of cool. They showed a trailer. It looks good. I think there's maybe more voice acting in this one.
It sounds like it.
The trailer was very talky. But then again, so was the trailers for Ni no Kuni 2.
I knew that was coming.
But usually the Bravely Default demos and traditionally have been very like robust, and you get stuff in the main game once that comes out, so it might be worth checking out. I mean, it's probably worth checking out just because it looks really nice. There was an update to Ring Fit Adventure that I actually played today.
Oh,
they introduced a rhythm mode, like a fucking Beat Saber-y kind of rhythm mode, where instead of swiping your Beat Saber, you're like moving your ring and like squeezing it in and ducking down. And
how was that?
There was a couple of Mario songs from Mario Odyssey, including the the big one, the singing Krispy. Mario Odyssey.
You must know every word to the Mario Odyssey theme song. I'm pretty sure he sang it on this podcast.
I did used to.
It has that one. It has that one. Odyssey, CC, what
Odyssey, ESC,
yeah.
Odyssey, ESC.
Yeah.
Wait, Brad,
Odyssey,
is Ring Fit? Is that hard to get now?
Yes, it's impossible to get.
Fuck.
As soon as the virus broke out in China, a lot of people started importing it from other places and like buying them and sending them there. Now it's like there's like an aftermarket value to that.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like fucking like $250.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I've been debating on getting one for a while now, but I guess I fucking can't.
It's good.
Is it $250 good?
Malia plays it all the time. I've sort of fallen off. But
let me just check GameStop. They're essential. They're still open, right?
I think this essentially falls into the category of maybe you should wait until everything gets better.
Yeah,
because then it'll be affordable again.
Yeah, it's cool that they're introducing like updates. They also had like so they had a song from Breath of the Wild, and I was like, Breath of the Wild didn't have music. But I guess it kind of did, but not music you would put in a fucking rhythm game. And sure enough, it was like the combat music. And I was like, what am I even doing? This is not a song you can Beat Saber to. And that was kind of disappointing. And that was it. I mean, they had like 2 Mario songs and 1 Zelda song, and the rest were like songs from the Ring Fit levels, which are like just music. And I don't know. It's a cool idea, but it's one that I wish was like fully like. I wish Nintendo would do like more games with the little Pilates ring, because I think doing a music and rhythm game is one that could be developed into a full game, and kind of like like how Theater Rhythm is like this very nostalgic trip through like Final Fantasy's soundtrack history or whatever. Like they could do that with Nintendo songs, right? And actually make a cool rhythm game where you're getting swole.
Jesus Christ. I just looked up prices for Ring Fit Adventure on eBay.
Yeah.
There's nothing less than $140.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hold on. I can get the Ring Fit Adventure controller for $40 on Wish.
Nintendo announced the new Smash Brothers character without actually saying who it was. They announced the series that he comes from, or she comes from, or it comes from.
Arms.
Which
is a video game I honestly forgot existed.
Does Nintendo even give a shit about Arms anymore?
Apparently they do.
Arms was a mile because it came out so early in the life of the Switch and even now. Why are you? Are you healthy, Chris Davis?
I'm allergic to mold, cedar, and oak right now.
Okay.
What does it matter? We are social distancing.
Okay.
Well, I'm not
concerned. It was more just concern for your health.
Yeah. Not that you'll give it to me.
My problem is that I have these 3 allergies, and then every time I cough out in public, I get the sideways glance from everyone.
Well, people like sneeze, their eyes water. There's certain things that happen to people when they have allergies. Having none of those symptoms and then just coughing is slightly unusual.
I've been sneezing tonight. I've just been muting my mic.
2K announced a bunch of collections coming to the Switch, which is okay.
Bioshock.
The one that would appeal to me are the XCOM games, which are ones that I never played. The XCOM 2 big expansion, that would totally be something I could get into on the Switch. So
it was good stuff.
That would be a great fit for the Switch.
Also, the Bioshock games, the Borderlands games, whatever. One thing I guess I missed in the direct, but I saw that it's out, is that the remake of the original Panzer Dragoon, I guess they just shadow dropped it and it's out on Switch now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's any good, but that's kind of surprising to me.
And there's a limited run of it going tomorrow.
Oh well, where are you going to get
physical copy?
Limited run, yeah. But there's a limited run of everything these days. It kind of doesn't matter. And I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. It's either something I didn't care about, like some Pokemon update, or I just
there was a Pokemon update.
Oh, Jesus!
Tell us about it, Chris.
I think they're adding a new island. I don't know. They're adding a new island and towers and a new Pokemon. Oh, they added a new Pokemon, and it's a little bear that does kung fu, and it's called Cub Fu.
Cub Fu?
Wow.
Yeah, and it evolves into bigger bears that do kung fu.
It evolves into Kung Fu Panda.
And then there's these 2 towers, like challenge towers you can do, but you can only go into one of them. So you have to pick, and depending on which one you go into and finish, you get a different like fighting style for Cub Fu. Oh, yeah, because that was I forgot. The challenge towers, you can only take this new Pokemon in. So it's just you and this Pokemon. You can't use any of your other roster. And then whichever one you complete, you get a different like fighting style or techniques or moves or something for him. Mm-hmm. And then they also have different Gigamax or Dynamax or whatever they're called evolutions for a couple other Pokemon like Charizard or some shit. I don't know. I haven't played the new Pokemon, so I don't know. But
none of us have, strangely enough.
Mo Chocolate. He always wore a tie, I think. I'm trying to remember.
Can I throw out 2?
He's over here been talking about Nintendo Direct the entire time. In the back of his head, he's actually been thinking about Mo Chocolate.
I mean, who hasn't?
I posted the trailer in chat if you'd rather watch that for a couple minutes and then come back.
Jesus,
viewers.
God damn it, Brad. Sorry, Chris Davis, what were you saying?
I was going to say, I just want to throw out 2 really quick, smaller news topics.
Is your mic far away from your...
Sorry. So, actually, it should be this mic. That's what you're hearing. Avalanche Studios has rebranded.
Oh, that's right.
And they're teasing...
Which Avalanche Studios?
The one that does Just Cause and,
Mad Max.
The one that's been disappointing us for years now.
Excuse me?
Wait, which one do you like?
He likes the Mad
Rage
Max.
2?
Mad Max,
Mad
bro.
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
love
that's a official Nick Jimmy.
That's an official Nick Jimmy. Yeah.
And they're currently teasing a new game they haven't given a title to. But it's might be a shooter. You can't really
might
tell.
be a shooter.
Yeah.
Just to
They
be
said-
clear, the team at Avalanche that did Mad Max is the team that did Rage 2. I believe so, right?
I don't
Because
know.
the other
Sounds
team
right.
was the one that did Just Cause 3 and 4, right?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
Yeah,
no
they're-
one really liked Rage 2, right?
Nobody on this podcast really did.
Carlos
game was
liked it.
But
Did
Carlos
Carlos like
did
it?
not like
Don't
it,
trust
no.
anything Carlos says or does.
I mean,
You could put that in quotes and it would be accurate. Carlos liked it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
You
was
know what I mean?
it was fairly competent. I'll say that. I think
Sounds like a glowing endorsement.
I think that's
All
the
right.
best endorsement I can get. And the other one, the other piece of news, smaller thing, we got our first screenshot of
Oh.
Stalker 2.
That's seemed like a strange thing to release. Like
More like faux Walker or 2.
I mean, it's
More like
Okay.
Sham 2.
it's a sequel to a game not being developed by the original team, and we got a screenshot for it. That's really all we have. to go on
yeah,
now.
but that screenshot's kind of pretty. Shows an anomaly. And,
I thought it was a drawing, and I thought it was like concept art at first when I first saw it.
It looks like they got some pretty good weather effects going. So
I will keep. Yes, that's hard to tell from a still photograph, but I hope they show more. They said they're going to show more in 2020.
Yeah.
All right.
But they've also been planning on releasing the game in 2022, so we're still a good long ways off.
That's not happening.
Hey, speaking of Mad Max, I'm going to ask y'all a quick question. I want y'all to answer very quickly, then we can move on. If you had to make right now on the spot, you had to come up with 10 favorite movies of this past decade, would Mad Max Fury Road not make any of y'all's lists?
Oh,
I'm going to be honest.
Of the past decade,
I
it'd
do.
be on mine.
Wait.
It probably would be. I mean, the problem is I
Okay.
haven't watched it in a long time. I
think
would need to
it's on
rewatch it. That's a movie I've been trying to get Robin to watch with me. She refuses to watch it.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. She's
You're
very
not married
strange.
yet, right?
Not yet. She's very strange. Like there's certain things where she's just like, nope. Oh, I have no interest in it, and I can't figure out why she won't tell me.
You know,
She just-
we actually got Furiosa news today.
Oh yeah, there's potential casting news for the spinoff, the Furiosa spinoff they're talking about
Mhm.
doing.
Nolan,
Oh.
I don't know if I got a response from you.
I don't know the answer to the question, Brad.
Oh, okay.
It could be. It might not be. I don't remember. I couldn't come up with 10 movies that I've seen in the last decade. In like 5, it would take me a few minutes to think about it.
I know. It's just, but just like your gut would
It
say,
is a good movie.
it probably belongs there, right?
It's a good
it's
movie.
a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm gonna rewatch that soon.
You should.
Blade Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner 2049 definitely be on there for me.
I didn't ask what would be on there. I said, would Mad Max not be on there?
You're right. You're right. We're not answering this question. We're moving on. Crispy, you're very far away from your mic. All right, let's roll right on to community questions. Nolan, are you ready?
Always.
Let's answer some questions.
Let's do it. All right. So, first question this week from one of our patrons, Don Dolan. Don Dolan asks, "What's the funniest thing Geralt of Rivia could say in his gravelly, sultry voice?"
I don't know.
Put me
come
on the
I
spot
know-
here.
The pickle
Something
Rick and me.
funny.
The what?
Yeah.
The
Of
what?
like of the guy being like the scientist, and I shit you not, he turns himself into a pickle. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That meme
That's a
has
good
been coming
answer.
around again, hadn't it?
That's a good one.
Maybe he could sing.
Feels dated. Feels
he-
dated.
I don't know. It's coming around. It's on all the meme comps I watch.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the memes I
what-
watch.
Brad,
Sorry.
he could sing the Lazy Town "Bake a Pretty Cake" song. That'd be pretty good.
Oh.
Geralt singing that song.
How does that go?
I'm gonna go with
It's a piece of cake to bake.
I'm gonna beat both of y'all on data
Not gonna do
references.
the rest.
I got balls of steel. Eh?
That Duke Nukem.
An oldie but a goodie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But funny.
Yeah, I
though.
guess.
Go on, Brad.
No, it's not funny. It was not funny.
Yeah, Brad.
I these are all fine answers. I'm
I
happy.
don't know how to answer.
I'm
this
happy with the
The
answer
bacon-
I'm given.
The bacon pancake song from Adventure.
Oh,
Ooh,
There we
nice.
go.
Bacon pancakes. All right, next question from Thorax, another patron. Nick recently said that he chosen not to sit with Kinney in Walking Dead. Deeply disturbing. What other choices did Nick make that raised your eyebrows?
Oh,
I don't know what
speaking
choices
of choices, bad choices.
That Nick made or just in general?
No, the Chris Davis one at the end of Resident Evil 7.
Oh.
I saw like a
Oh,
Twitter
what
thread
an
support
idiot.
group for Zoe picking.
We should get him in on that.
It was like a whole Twitter thread of people saying, you know what? I think Zoe was the right choice.
Nope.
Really? Link
Yeah.
me this thread. I want to see this.
It
Chris
was a
Davis, there are
Susie tweet.
dozens of
Wait.
you.
Why is Zoe the
I
right choice?
stand by my decision. Yeah, we'll take that to my grave.
Zoe is the wrong choice because the other choice was his wife.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was
Chopped off your fucking hand?
clearly not herself when she did that. I'll never understand it, but I'm so happy that came up. I like how when they asked what bad decisions I've made, we quickly
Yeah, pivot and
Diverted.
fire
Well, I
in this
think-
direction.
Nick, I think the problem is I don't really know what decisions you made in Walking Dead, so I can't tell you which ones.
I'm talking about he's actually
just in general.
Yeah,
What other decisions?
that should be a lot easier. I make all kinds
y'all
of
don't
weird
y'all
decisions.
don't follow Sphere Hunter on Twitter, Susie. She's the one who posted it, and she posted a picture of both of them, Zoe and your fucking wife. And I just looked at this picture, and there's these two random women. I like barely remember their faces, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Resident Evil 7 had like no characters in it.
Her name was
Besides-
Mia, by the way. Why are y'all
Mia,
calling
yeah.
her my fucking wife when
They both.
you
been
can't
2 years, we
even
remember
you're
her.
criticizing me for a decision I made
Male wife.
despite the fact that you can't even remember her fucking name.
It was
That is-
two
What does,
women.
it, what
with-
does it
with
matter? What does it
zero
matter that we
design.
can't remember a decision we made in the past when we made the right decision?
Yeah.
Who cares what decision we made? We made the right one. I don't care
The
what her
choice-
name
Yeah,
was.
but like,
spec-
just because you're married to her, like, is that like
The choice
is
was
the
very
relationship good,
The choice
or
was
was this like an act of self-actualization for him? To,
the
like,
whole
leave his
driving
wife
force
and-
of the game is him
Is to
going
go
to trying to
rescue her.
find his wife, and he finds her, and she's
not
obviously
herself.
she's not herself, and you
Yeah.
finally have an option.
That's like the tragedy,
Mhm.
No, it's
the
no.
pathos.
You don't.
This
You
is-
can't just say she's not herself.
She's
There
not
was-
herself, and you knew Zoe for like all of
10
an hour
minutes.
before you
Yeah.
made this decision,
And she wasn't even that cool.
And she was a family member of the people who are actively trying to kill you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's gonna make holiday dinners
Is this
real
like-
awkward.
Is it like one of those Scarlett Johansson movies where like some man having a midlife crisis falls in love with her and
All right, I
Once
think we
Brad
spent enough
fucking
time on
hates
this
you, Brad.
question.
I like how we didn't lay out any more terrible decisions that I made.
Well,
Thank
Fuck
you.
you. My fuck you of the week goes to Brad.
Thank Chris
What?
Davis.
It's too
All
early
right,
for that.
next question from Fuzzy Turd. Given that Brad has gotten me obsessed with Yakuza, I picked up the remastered collection, twice actually, digitally in August and a physical copy on release day. I've been playing on hard due to how easy fights usually get towards the end of the games. So I did the same with Yakuza 3. It was the most ridiculously frustrating shit I've experienced, and I've been constipated quite a few times. Okay.
right.
It wasn't necessarily difficult, just incredibly tedious having to constantly throw enemies and pray for a fucking bike to smack people with. Finally, beating that and starting Yakuza 4 was a breath of fresh air because of how fast and effective Akiyama's combat style is. Anyway, my question is, what are some games you've played that have stupid interpretations of what a hard mode is? Yeah, that's a good question. I think first off the bat is just pumping enemies full of health
Yeah.
is a ridiculous way to make the game hard.
Like, don't make
Yeah.
combat less fun as a means
yeah,
of making it hard.
making an enemy a bullet sponge does not equal difficult. It
Like-
equals
like-
frustrating.
Going back to Doom Eternal for a second, like, that sounds like, the idea of making it harder to just throw more at you. But at no point does it become not fun to shoot enemies in that game.
Yeah.
It just becomes harder.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think of a specific example that did it poorly,
Mhm.
and that
I mean,
might be tougher.
there are definitely plenty of
There's
games that
plenty
do
of
it
them out
poorly.
there.
Unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to replay games multiple times, so I don't often know what the difference between the difficulties are.
And I very
Um,
rarely start on hard.
Mhm.
I almost always do normal, so I wouldn't even. I
Mhm.
don't have a lot of frame of reference when it comes to
But
judging.
I like I said, I think making dudes bullet sponges or just increasing enemy counts aren't necessarily the best ways to make a game more difficult. And also, obviously, depends on the style of game. We're talking about shooters or whatever, but any kind of, obviously, it's going to be when you're interacting with an enemy. I think that the proper way to do a harder difficulty is, having the enemy you're interacting with be more intelligent, make smarter moves, try and flank you, try and do this. On the easier difficulties, often they'll kind of maybe idle a little bit. They'll make their decisions slower, giving the player more time to react. And then when you increase the difficulty, the AI of the enemy is more quick to react, which gives you less time. I think that's probably the easiest way to make a game more difficult without just saying, "Oh, instead of 3 bullets to kill this guy, now it takes 10."
I think Resident Evil is an example of a game that's always done it well.
Mhm.
In that it just becomes about you got to get better and more. You have to pay more attention because it's all about inventory management and
Yeah,
resource
item
management.
scarcity and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so just making
I
it
think it's easy to find
resources fewer.
to name the games that do it well because they stand out, but the question was bad, and there's a lot of games that do it poorly.
Like
It's just hard to
Yeah.
recall them.
the Uncharted series is not great when it comes to difficulty levels, because dudes become bullet sponges and stuff like that. I remember, I think it was specifically Uncharted 3 when you fight the final guy. I forget his name now. The big buff dude, and you're
Yeah.
fighting him in like the tree of
Yeah.
life or whatever.
Yeah.
And on hard, that it was he just fucking just took damage like he fucking wanted you to step on his balls, daddy. It was just way too much. It was way too ridiculous because
What?
I beat that game on hard, and the difference in between hard and normal was just like ridiculous. How much more damage he took.
You really threw me off there, Nolan.
You're welcome.
uh,
All right, let's move on. Next question this week from Villasaurus. What do you do when you feel sad and down?
I play
Well,
video
Villasaurus,
games.
I hope you're not feeling sad and down.
A
But
lot of people
yeah,
are feeling sad and down.
no,
I mean,
I guess a lot of people in the world definitely are right now, just because of everything that's going on. It can be tough, and I think it's definitely don't. I've been experiencing that, not necessarily sad and down, but just kind of in a slump a little bit. And sometimes I used to be like, oh well, the podcast is coming up, and so I have to play this because I want to talk about it on the podcast. But more so recently, I've been like, you know what, I'm not in a mood to play that. Playing it isn't going to make me any happier. I'm going to, watch a funny YouTube video, or maybe, watch a movie or do something else, or fucking do a thousandth run of The Binding of Isaac.
be
I think
honest with yourself and what you want to do.
exactly. I think
know what I mean?
finding something that you enjoy doing, I think depending on what is making you sad and down, being able to turn your brain off can be helpful too. To kind of get, because often, you'll get in that loop of you may be upset by something, or you're worried about something, and you just kind of keep going. And so being able to get something to distract yourself from that can be helpful.
Illumination in chat says smut helps. Wow.
Sure.
Sure. Whatever floats your boat. I mean, sure.
The old fapping nap.
You know.
There you go.
Oh my god. One thing. So like, I've been struggling. I mean, at this point, I've been working from home for about 2 weeks now, and I feel like I haven't had a lot of. This is like talking to you guys right now is like the most interaction I've had with another human being outside of I see Robin every day. So this is obviously really really nice. But like, I found myself worrying a lot and like honing in on all the crazy shit that's happening and all the uncertainty, which is obviously very scary. And I find myself thinking a lot about other people whether it's friends or my family or whatever. So, and today I was just like thinking about my dad, and I was like worried about my dad. So I was like, I'm just gonna call my dad and talk to him for a second, and I did, and I talked to him for like 5-10 minutes, and I felt so much better. So maybe reach out to someone that's you're thinking about or whatever that you might be concerned about, especially in a time like this when it's just like you don't know what other people are doing or how they're handling the isolation and all that good stuff. You know.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion. Also, just on a general level, playing video games. That's nice. Or watching movies.
Yeah.
Or watching a lot of television.
Yeah,
I recommend Slay the Spire.
Or if you want to get more specific.
All right, let's move on. Next question this week from patrons comes from Ash. With the world going crazy, food might be harder to come by. What's your favorite struggle meal? I make a mean Korean army stew, which is basically ramen, hot dogs, and Spam with whatever vegetables you can hustle up.
That sounds gross. I'm going to be totally honest.
What?
We've been eating some
delicious.
struggle food. We've been eating some struggle food.
What's your struggle food?
Day 5 of the same Domino's order.
Yeah. Right.
My favorite struggle food is fucking just PB&J.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of PB&J during this whole
love
thing.
it.
Yeah.
It's simple. You get some protein, you get some sugar, you get some carbs, a little bit of fat from the peanut butter if you got some good. That's good, man.
Oh, struggle food is eating Henry's like snacks that aren't like
Aren't fresh.
No, they don't have as much like sugar or like salt or any, or, as much as like
Adult
snacks
food?
we normally eat. Yeah.
Are you literally stealing candy from a baby? Is that what you're doing?
I'm stealing healthy food from a baby, and it's gross.
Mesa Coco in chat. This is fascinating. Maybe this is not new. Mesa Coco says college struggle food for him was white rice with canned lentil soup poured on top.
Sure.
How creative.
About as cheap as it gets.
No, a good one that I'll do sometimes. Make a pot of rice and then just have some seaweed, and you put rice in the seaweed and you eat it like that. It's essentially like sushi, but without the sushi.
Yeah. Oh, we bought this big box of chicken corn dogs, and I've just been microwaving one of those every once in a while.
Wait, hold on. Chicken corn dogs?
Yeah, I mean it's like a hot dog, but it's like a chicken hot dog.
I have literally never had a chicken corn dog in
It's
my life.
good. It's really good.
Huh.
You probably had one of those
struggle.
hybrid.
If it's really good, it's not a struggle.
You probably had one of those hybrid.
Ramen's really good,
ones.
but that's definitely a struggle.
Yeah, I did have some instant ramen for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, we got
the
some
other
instant
day.
ramen here as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to admit my struggle food that I actually really
Oh
like.
no!
Is it cat food?
Oh,
No.
we got some plant-based coffee creamer. and
Oh,
it's
God.
not good.
Ugh.
It's not
That
good.
sounds vile. I'm sorry.
I don't think there was any other coffee creamer.
That's why I'm really happy that over the past like 4 months I started drinking my coffee black. I don't even need to worry about it anymore.
Crispy, what about half a melon heated in the microwave? That's a joke for Crispy.
These are dark times.
That could be both an experience and a meal.
So,
No, that was a
just
joke
so we're
for
clear,
Crispy.
y'all are talking about fucking the melon, right?
What? No.
That's a
Who would
really
do
weird
that?
direction.
I read through your subtext. Chris Davis, I would like to hear what your struggle food is.
Oh,
Please.
fuck.
admit
Okay.
it.
So you take a package
God.
of the little beef smokies, the cocktail weenie things. You baste them in barbecue sauce in a pot for a few minutes.
The beefy weenies?
Yeah. And then you serve it with cubed cheese and mustard.
Dude, that was like a fucking delicacy when I was a kid.
Also,
cheese and mustard.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot
it's
of
it's a
moving
poor
parts to
man's
that.
3-course dinner.
Wait, do you mix
Oh.
it in the cube cheese?
I
I
mean,
don't know
like,
why I thought there was
you
pasta in
can,
that
but no,
equation.
I would.
Why would you mix all that together?
You
Oh,
don't
like
mix it. No.
toothpicks. Like toothpicks.
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
take it, you stab the
little
cocktail
little
weenie,
meat
then
tray
you
with-
stab some cheese and
I gotcha.
put a little mustard on it. You eat it.
Chris Davis, is this a struggle meal or is this Friday? I want you to be honest. The way you were describing it made it sound like you like
It's
it.
a struggle
Like it's
meal.
his favorite meal.
It's a struggle meal because like half of the meal's components are condiments.
Well, so first off, cocktail weenies are delicious.
Yeah, it
Cheese
sounds
is
good to me.
delicious. Barbecue sauce is good. Mustard's
Yeah.
disgusting, so you're a
Yeah,
freak.
wait, what do you
But
put the
the
mustard
rest
on?
of that is
back the
delicious.
fuck up.
Wait. There's barbecue sauce on the weenies, and cheese is cheese. So what the fuck are you putting mustard on?
That's a good question.
I'm
He just
dip-
squirts it
I'm
in his mouth. He's like,
Dipping,
"Oh."
I'm dipping the barbecue sauce covered weenies in the mustard.
What?
That's so weird.
That's where
Why
it
are
went
you
sideways.
fucking like double condimenting there, Chris
And
Davis?
I-
This
Because
isn't
it's
even a struggle.
preparation.
You're not even struggling if you're using twice as many condiments as you need. It's like, oh, 2 condiments today.
Oh
See,
my
this
God.
is why. I
Well, I
didn't
might
like
add a
it.
little sriracha too. Oh. So struggle.
That's going outside the struggle, right? There.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, that's all the questions from our patrons. We have no questions from our supporters on Twitch. That's okay. We still love them. Like Nick had mentioned, every week we post a thread in Patreon and in our supporter channel on Discord. We're not going to answer every single question we get, but we save them up and we'll kind of go back through. Some of the questions were from this week. Some of them were from February. So we'll get to them eventually.
We'll go
Yeah,
through the good
I would-
ones.
Maybe when we get to a show where we don't have a ton of impressions, or maybe not a lot of news, we'll use it as catch up time. Eventually, we'll catch up, and then we'll be back to doing more recent questions. But if you didn't hear your question tonight, we will get to it on a future show. Of course, if you're interested in supporting us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/4player. But now, without further ado, it's time to wrap up with the 4-player minute.
Okay.
Brad, are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
My hype is Mo Chocolate. Nah,
God damn
no,
it.
my hype is for a demo of a game that I probably should have recorded footage of and talked about in impressions, but I kind of just forgot about it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I played the Disaster Report 4 demo.
Oh,
And so I've streamed Disaster Report and Raw Danger before, which is Disaster Report 2, and those games are like weird, but I like them. This game seems bad in like the way it plays. It feels kind of slow and sluggish, but it seems so good in all the wrong ways or the right ways. It's very strange, and I'm definitely going to stream it at some point. The awkward part is it comes out like next week, which is the worst time to release a small game like this.
Yep. It's gonna get
like,
eaten.
The worst. Nobody's gonna buy this game. It's gonna be a tragic, but I mean, whatever. I mean, no one would have bought it any time.
Well,
of the
Brad,
year,
all
really.
they have to do if they want to experience it is go outside.
It's well, that's the funny part. This is the game that was in development, but got canceled back because of the Japanese tsunami, the earthquake,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Well, this is a bad time to do this game.
It
It's
is,
in
yeah.
bad taste." And now they're finally releasing it in the middle of this global pandemic. It's like it's dude, this game is insane. This game is insane. You interact with people and you make these dialogue choices, and there's like 12 choices, and like half of them are saying the same fucking thing, and then some of them are just batshit insane. And every time you click on one, it's voiced. I don't even get it. I mean, it's in Japanese, but
you
I-
love
I don't
voice
even-
acting.
no, I know, but like it's absurd. Why are there 12 choices? 6 of them are the same. I mean, and it's absurd. But I like how you can be a complete fucking dick to people for no reason. It's so great.
Shocking.
It's so bad though. I'm definitely gonna stream this.
Sweet.
Definitely gonna stream this. There's a lot of remember. Oh, by the way, and this is brilliant, right? So I played Raw Danger, which was a PS2 game, right? And there was a little blonde dude, and I was like, well, I'm gonna name him Nick Henderson, right? But you get to the end, and you run out of room, so it was Nick Henderson, which is probably even more Japanese sounding, right? Henderson. I don't know. I was entering the name for this character who's a woman, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll do Nikki Henderson. And sure enough, I swear to God, I got to the inn and I ran out of room. So by complete happenstance, again, Nikki Henderson is the name of my character. And there's a character creator, and it's like the dumbest thing. This game is so dumb. I highly recommend checking out the archive. It's bad, but it's good.
I wish its
bad
predecessor
but
would have
good.
come out.
Anyways,
Oh, can't wait to see or hear about
shit,
that.
that was just my hype. But again, I probably should have talked about it earlier. But my sweat is Neo 2. I've been playing a lot of Neo 2. I didn't really talk about it because it's not new, but that's what I've been playing. My sweat is that after, I don't know, at least a dozen hours of playing this game, I still have not sort of settled on what the fuck I want to build my character as or what weapon I want to use. I've been trying every fucking weapon, and it's such a hard decision because there's weapon proficiency. We talked about it last week, where the more you use a weapon, the more points you get and the more skills you get. And I'm trying out everything, and I just don't know. Man, I don't know.
I have faith, Brad. You'll figure it out.
I made a slow roll heavy boy, like a 99% encumbrance, and I was like, maybe this will work, and it was different, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. My thank you goes to Reborn for sending. I was gonna thank her once I had the thing in front of me so I can show you guys. She picked up something at PAX for me, which is really cool. My other thank you goes to Nick for finally getting it from the PO box in the middle of this global pandemic. And but again, I still don't have it in front of me. I think Nick's gonna mail it to me, right?
You're going to mail it to you?
Come on, you piece of shit! You don't have a stamp around it. It's a
Bitch, why not?
postcard. Don't put anything
Sure.
on the postcard. Put it in an envelope, please.
Doesn't the postcard have the autograph on it?
Yeah, that's why I don't want you to.
You want me to send that just free floating?
No. Put it in an envelope. Put a stamp on it.
Okay, we'll see. I have a stamp.
And my fuck you, of course, goes to Valve. Y'all know why, for making me wait this long. And then, I mean, I can't afford to play it right now, but some of you can, and you will let me borrow when you are done. How are y'all? Are y'all making reasonable progress?
I'm gonna
Y'all?
try.
Oh,
think
well,
we're
we
all
talked
in the
about
same
it in our
spot.
discussion, so maybe if you want the discussion.
To
you
answer your
know.
question, I'm in chapter 4. There's 13 or 14 chapters or something.
How are you doing, Nolan?
I'm on chapter 3.
You into it? You got good momentum?
I talked about it earlier.
I'm gonna be honest. This is probably
the
gonna be all I
fuck?
play this weekend. I mean, not all I play, but I'm probably
Chris
gonna
Davis?
switch.
Chris Davis?
I'm right behind Nick, I think, as far as where
Okay.
we're in the story. So
They were all pretty down on it, actually.
Yeah, we hated it.
yeah, you
I don't
shouldn't
believe
play
that.
it. Just fuck it. Don't do it.
Or
Wow.
just wait for the
I
no
believe
VR,
what Nick said was it wasn't worth it.
or wait for the no VR mod and play the inferior version of the game.
Yeah.
Or the even more inferior version. Yeah.
You will play it.
No, I believe you
Soon.
that it would
I'm
be
gonna try and-
inferior. That has to have been why I thought Resident Evil 7 was disappointing.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
All right. Who's next? Who normally goes next? Nolan.
Me. All right, my 4-player minute starts now. My height is for more Half-Life Alyx. I'm ready to continue on
Wait
that
a minute.
game.
You
but
said it was disappointing.
the problem is it also comes with a little bit of a fuck because I had a shit ton of issues getting this game going day one.
Oh, no.
It was extremely frustrating. I don't know why. As soon as I downloaded the latest drivers for NVIDIA, my computer it went to a green screen. It was just a green, solid green color. Nothing worked. I restarted. I couldn't get anything to work. It took me over an hour before I could even get to a point where I could start playing the game, and it was super frustrating. I did know some people were having some issues, but yeah, it was a pretty big frustration getting that going. My sweat is going to go to Ring Fit. I had really been thinking about getting one lately, and now I find out they just fucking don't exist apparently. I wanted to get one, and I guess I can't unless I want to pay $250, which I don't want to. So I'm hoping I can find one eventually, but we'll see what happens.
We bought ours right when the news in China came out, hey, this is a thing, and a few days later they started disappearing.
Damn.
I just randomly looked out walking into a Target, but I found out that other places were already sold out afterwards.
Wow.
Trade your Half-Life Alyx over to
Well,
Brad.
I'm pretty sure
once
Malia is not going to want to
beat it.
give up the Ring Fit.
Yeah, she does it all the time.
Oh,
but
Yeah, I'm sure
I guess
she.
that's true.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So my other sweat is going to go to Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I don't want to say I fell off that game, but the last couple of times I was playing it before Half-Life and Animal Crossing, nothing in that game was so first off, it's real fucking easy. And it's secondly, like there's nothing that's like the story isn't capturing my attention. I find myself in every cutscene being like, what's going on
Really?
Twitter? Yeah, dude, like
I
it
was
was
totally
not...
into it. Like the whole relationship between Ori and his owl friend. Yeah, like I was.
Dude, I've seen the owl once.
Okay, you
Every
must
single,
not be
like...
very far.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I've done what feels like quite a bit. I mean, I can look at my clock on Steam.
Not
My
gonna
clock
lie.
on Steam
Kind of forgot that game existed.
4 hours. So I don't know. That's a decent. But I just...
Man, I got-
the problem is, Nick, is I can't... There's no drive for me to play it. Maybe it gets better, but like nothing is making me want to get to the point where the game gets better right now.
I mean, I was pretty hooked in within like the first 30 minutes. And I
I'm
didn't
so
let go.
fucking shocked because when I saw like trailers for Ori and trailers for Doom, I was like, well, those are 10 out of 10 games.
Mhm.
Like I know those are gonna be good, and I know can't wait to play them. And both of them,
But there is some
I'm just
crazy
kinda
good
like-
shit in Ori. Y'all just haven't gotten to it yet. I don't
I
know.
fucking believe you. I believe you.
Maybe.
But it doesn't mean. I
But
wasn't
the
working.
problem right now, Nick, is there's other games that
Sure.
do drive me to pick up the controller and play them. So Ori's definitely taking a back
I'm just
seat.
saying, when you get to a point where you're like, well,
No,
I've
I-
finished
yeah.
the big stuff. Don't let
You know
Ori.
what seems hype? Resident Evil 3 and Final Fantasy 7. Ori.
We'll see. And then my fuck you this week is going to go to Animal Crossing. Fuck you. Give me some goddamn good islands with some fucking shit on it so I can play the game. I know Brad says that's not how it's supposed to be played, but it's real frustrating that every time I go into the Nook stop and pay fucking 2,000 Nook miles and I get on the plane and I get to an island and it's a bunch of shit. And it's just like super
Peaches.
frustrating.
Just fucking peaches.
Every fucking time.
How are you getting those Nook miles? Just doing your little challenges?
Yeah, just doing the challenge. Every day you get 5 that are double points. And then I just generally I'll glance up every time I solve one and be like, hey, what's the next one? I keep it in the back of my mind. Oh, capture a memory. Just take a fucking screenshot. Like it's not that there's 100 free Nook miles. So I mean that's how I've been doing it. But yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Noel. Krispy?
My hype this week is for I can't remember if this was the case. No, last week was Doom. This week is for Echo Hero 32 for Overwatch. I've been watching all the stuff that's been coming out over the last week of people like playing and experimenting with her, and she seems fucking crazy. Like ridiculous. It looks really cool. My sweat goes for a general sense of video game ennui, kind of like what Nolan was describing with Ori. But like, I'm kind of like locking into this loop where I play Warzones until it pisses me off, and then I play Overwatch until it pisses me off, and then I think about playing Doom and I play it for 5 minutes, and then it pisses me off, and then I think about playing Neo and I then don't. Like, it's just it's frustrating. I need a new game.
Crispy.
Play some Doom. But
No, I did.
Knock it down to like easy.
What did you say?
Play Neo.
Yeah, I did. And then I died. And I was like, I don't like this.
Ooh, I have a good idea. Play Resident Evil 2 Remake.
That's a pretty good video game.
That's a damn fine video game.
It's pretty good. I just
He's not gonna play shit.
Mr. X, man.
Dude, that is like it's like a drug, man. Mr. X is like a drug. He's bad for you, but you have to have more.
Stressful.
I know, it's so good.
I don't know. My fuck you for the week goes to every rando I've played Warzone with. Like, just every single one. Worse than the last.
Crispy. You want to play a few rounds after the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it,
Let's
bud.
fucking do it.
It's a date.
I'm
gonna start downloading it, so I'll be ready in like a week.
Yep.
Okay. And my thank you goes to I don't know. I'm gonna say thank you to my friends at work for finally convincing me to watch Evangelion, because a bunch of people have tried over the years, including Chris Davis, and none of them have ever
What kind of nerdy fucking coworkers do you have?
seen it through. And I finally watched it, and I fucking love it.
I would like to have a discussion with you about this series once you've gone through it all.
I mean,
About metaphors and stuff.
you mean you know what? That's what's kind of frustrating is like I've been looking up a lot of like deep dive shit online, and most of it is god awful. Like I just hate listening to people talk about it. Like, ugh.
There's a level of toxicity there that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's like more about like like AT fields and angels and this and it's like nobody's I don't know. Nobody's engaging with it. I don't know. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Davis.
My first hype this week is continuing Half-Life Alyx. I really wish we weren't doing the podcast right now so I could just go fucking play that right now.
Well, it's almost over. You're the one delaying it.
It's so fucking good.
All right.
We really didn't go into like a lot of stuff that we could have talked about with this game. Like,
well, we have a lot of meat left on the bones of that game, so there will be other opportunities.
oh my god, just so fucking good. My other hype is for Resident Evil 3. That is next week's, fellas. Next week. And like Brad was bitching before the podcast saying that all these were fucking Chris Davis games that were coming out. And I was like, fuck you, but at the same time,
Well, between Doom,
you're goddamn
Half-Life,
right.
and Resident Evil 3, it's like 2 weeks of Chris Davis jerking. It's crazy.
I fucking love Resident Evil 3. I think it's my favorite of the original run.
I think it's... I'm pretty sure I know it's your favorite.
I mean, remake 1 was really good.
That is the correct answer, but
Resident Evil 3 though,
I've heard you talk about 3 way more than Resident Evil 1 remake, just in general.
Because the original 3 was so interesting. It does so many interesting things. Oh man, but
I can't wait to play it.
I'm also fucking terrified of what Nemesis is going to be like.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's a horrible thought.
Oh my god!
Exactly why I want Krispy to play Resident Evil 2 now.
Yeah, like Mr. X is going to be Nemesis light. Like
probably.
Oh my god!
What do you think that character? Where do you think the idea came from?
Yeah. I guess my main fuck you of the week goes to GameStop. News broke a couple hours ago that they've announced on their latest earnings call that they're closing 300 stores.
Damn.
It's happening.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So they're actually closing 321 stores.
Guys,
bringing
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're only bringing their total down to 5,500 locations. But at the same time, they're just gonna fuck over every one of those employees and not do anything about it.
Probably. Guys, it's getting to the point where I'm no longer even worried about whether I'm ever going to get my Resident Evil Collector's Edition. Now I'm worried I'm just going to lose the money I put down on it altogether.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about Resident Evil 3. I would worry about The Last of Us 2.
Why? I'm not getting Last of Us 2 through GameStop.
Yeah, but other people are going to be wanting those Collector's Editions, which there are several. I'm
talking personally. Resident Evil 3 is the only thing I have pre-ordered. It's the only way to get that statue. That's all I want.
Yeah, but what about poor Nolan here?
Wait, Nolan, did you reserve it through GameStop?
No.
Wait, I'm confused.
Why would I?
I don't know. Chris Davis said he's worried about you because of GameStop.
I'm just saying that Nolan is the biggest Last of Us lover of this site.
And
I
got Last of Us through Amazon.
Okay, well.
Dude, I've not been to a GameStop like midnight release in like years.
Yeah.
I sent Robin to get Red Dead Redemption 2 for me. And she did.
And I guess my other fuck you this week goes to Brad because you're just a fucking troll, Brad. Just stop it.
There he is. He even looks like a troll under a bridge right now and turns
What
on
are you
his lights.
talking about?
Is it my turn? Can
Yes.
I go? All right, my hype this week goes to, like Chris Davis, like Nolan, Half-Life Alyx. Very much looking forward to playing more of it. I'm going to probably play a fuck ton of it this week. I also hope that one of us gets through it soon, maybe myself included, so we can lend it to Brad so he can play it, because he's obviously very excited to play it, and he needs to play it. My thank you this week goes to Valve for very quickly and attentively patching the bug, the continuous turning bug in Valve. I was so hyped to play more Half-Life after the first night, but I was like, I'm not going to do it until they fix that bug, and they finally did. Or not finally, they did it very quickly. It was in like within 2 days of release, which is great. My fuck you goes to Sekiro. I finished that game. I love that game with a passion. It's fantastic. I look forward to never touching it ever again.
You mean bosses the game?
But like that game is not
Don't
all
take the bait.
bosses. It is not all bosses, but there is honestly, like, I played that final boss for probably collectively 7 hours, maybe 8 hours total before I finally won. And I'm gonna be honest, the thing that turned the tide, the thing that and which is, maybe something obvious to some people, but I never felt like I needed to until this point, was Chai Tai in chat said, if it's too much for you, try watching a YouTube video. And I watched like 4 different YouTube videos until I saw a strategy that I thought might work. And I watched that YouTube video, I studied it, and then I went and tried to just recreate exactly what they did. And
Was the strategy parrying?
No.
No.
Not parrying. But I finally did it. Even after studying that video and watching it a bunch of times, and it still took me like 2 or 3 hours of solid attempts to pull it off. So
How do you have the time for that?
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't think any game, period, has any business being that hard. Like, it's ridiculous. But I think that game is still fantastic. I love it to death, but it is just too much. I can't do it again. Like, it asked you after you finish it, are you ready to start the next game? And I was like, fuck no, never happening. And my sweat goes to Resident Evil 3. For obvious reasons.
Not as hard as watching Yojimbo. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Someone needs to let their cat out.
Yeah, somebody's very upset.
That is my cat waiting. Oh my god. I'm done. Can someone else close out the show? Because I'm going to mute my microphone.
Bye.
That's not how you close out a show.
Bro. Oh, we'll see you next week, guys.
Okay, I think she's
whatever you say. Guys,
Maggie
guys and gals.
The stupid thing is that's her demanding to come in this room so she can sit in my chair.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving me crazy. Anyways, Maggie, go away. Please go away.
She said
so
no.
I can't
Can you turn your camera so we can see the room?
Not right now.
Oh,
I will
okay.
after we finish the show. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Fuck. Someone talk for just a second.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the show. This has been 4Player Podcast, episode 636? 635. I was close.
635.
Yeah. That's it, everybody. Like we mentioned earlier, you can always hang out in Discord at discord.gg/4player. After the show, you can talk to us about video games, movies, TVs, whatever. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/4player for some exclusive stuff, including early access to the show.
Yep, early access to the show and participation in the Revival Club. We're playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 right now.
Yeah, and that's it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Nolan, for finishing
out
that
there.
off.
You're welcome.
Yes, stay safe, be calm, be cool, play video games, be good to each other. We'll see you guys next week. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.